that they decided while their coach wasn't watching. They're like, haha, now we've got it. Now it's too late. Oh, Loopbet odds have updated. All right. Now they're a bit more on my side. Our partners over there saying it's 141 to 276.
It's like a 0.1 increase. 0.01 increase.
Hey, it's a 0.05 overall, okay? It's a 276 on that side instead of 280. That's how it works, okay? They're 5% more inclined towards me. Not really, that's not how percentages work. But not the crazy utility buy coming through from the CTs. They do have a pretty crazy B stack though, and that could be catching JLM and JR off guard.
Well, nade on the corner, did damage on towards Stefan. JLAM, the headshot hit on Mirbit. They need to try and cover him best they can. Slack's there for the trade for attacks. And while there's a stack here from the B-bomb site for the CTs, the apartment's pressure is mounting for Hellraisers. They're trying to rush this one player down. And Cressy, the first shot hit, but Kalinka there to trade things out and establish control on the bomb site. JR just trying to distract these remaining B players.
Great smoke and Molotov on that A side as well, where Flairich is able to follow up with a shot onto Skunk. The smoke has a small gap on the left side, which is what allowed them to be able to get that kill. Flairich exploiting that beautifully. Now, though, JR in the back lines, like you mentioned, should be able to exploit, but who is exploiting who? Slacks peeks down, gets that extra $300, but the delay that has been caused and the kit not being nearby the bomb, actually, means that Flairich just has an easy time, picks up, gets a one ding, and now he's just hoping that Stefan won't be checking the corner of the graveyard, and indeed he isn't. So there you have it. The first round going to Hellraiser, very nicely done as well. Probing out for information early on towards the banana, and when they're able to get that kill, plus information, plus they're also denying the info to CTs because they've recognized that there is a smoke down, they just run into apartments.
Yeah, the good old switcheroo. Hellraisers, they identify the stack from attacks very early on. Yes. And while attacks will buy into it, as we often see on the CT side now, the weaponry is still going to be in favor of Hellraisers, of course. The AKs, the MAC-10s, they want to hunt these players down. Not a lot of head armor on the attack side either, so these SMGs can certainly reap the rewards.
I always hear analysts saying that, which is why I say that too. But realistically, I almost never see SMGs getting headshots unless there is a random lucky jumping headshot anyway. So I'm not really sure how many times that comes into play because the MAC-10 is jumping around insanely. So
I know, but all it takes is one stray bullet. I mean, it's consistent enough.
That is true. Nade is well timed, but Kalinka's not too tickled by it. Cressy is wondering whether he can find anything through that gap, and right now all he's finding is a few bullets back into him. Slacks is the one who actually comes through with a kill. Oh. He's looking for more, and he will connect. Problem. Meet Deagle. Deagle, say goodbye to Problem.
Slacks is one of the players as well we harped on with having a pretty weak performance on the CT side. If you can get heated up, even if it is Hail Mary shots like that, that can certainly go a long way for attacks. Hellraisers, they have to fight back from a man disadvantage. That pressure from the archers is certainly still being felt. Slacks, though, looking for the information. JR able to take him down through the corner, and so now Mirbit, how is he going to play this one? How is he going to weasel his way out? He's tagged down to 42, and it has to be these nice shots to start things off. Distractions from Moto, but lots of missed shots from both attacks players.
Unfortunately, Mirbit does not know the staying alive mantra, which I will reveal in just a second. Stefan, ooh, Skrunk actually. That's a flashbang, not a nade. I thought it's a nade going through because it could have done good damage to JR. Unfortunately, JR just turned around with a quick headshot. And Skrunk with the MP9, Mirbit with the Deagle, they will be saving, it seems like. JR will need to escape from here. He can't just hide inside the pit, so perhaps they can find him and take his AK forward. It's entirely possible. But if they start to escape out towards Library and Arches, then there's really nothing you can do about it. So that's exactly what's going on. I like to see that decision made from them. They knew Mirbit was around. So what Mirbit did over there, is Skrunk going to find a kill? All right, he's just turned around. Unfortunately, he's not able to. Okay, so what Mirbit did over there was he just spammed away the Deagle. And to the viewers who are watching, I know this sounds like a joke, but it is entirely true. If someone's turned around to you and you don't think you can get the headshot, which is understandable because turnaround units are very hard to hit, you're supposed to click the Deagle to the beat of Staying Alive. So it's like, oh, 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 staying alive. That's how the 7 bullets go, and it is 95% accurate. Not even joking. That's an actual thing.
It's also the rhythm for CPR, so
yes.
that song very, very applicable. It seems
yes.
to
It's also a
multitude.
great song to sing. Girl, you can tell by the way. Yeah, so
Please don't make this a singing stream.
You're
You're about to awaken my inner karaoke.
Oh, we've got to do that sometime. Full eco other than Mervyn's Beagle. Cressy is wielding that P250 with pride, but pride will not help you when there's an AK on the other side.
Yeah, there's not too many chances for attacks in around like this. Skrunk, he's tried the Zeus. We saw it yesterday as well. Same position. And maybe Hellraisers are privy to that. Maybe they've done their homework. They know that Skrunk likes to channel his inner god of lightning.
Oh, that smoke for Goffins was so nice. Wow. From the bottom of Banana, no less. That's insane. But unfortunately, the CTs are already very far forward in Banana, so they know no one's coming in. Slacks in the meanwhile, though, and Jalem to come through with a quick kill. Onto Slacks. Murbit chimes back this time. He's a little bit more in tune, but can't quite get the second. Skrunk and Stefan left to fight off against an onslaught of AKs.
And Kalinka's holding for the flank with the AK. He is tagged relatively low, so a singular shot to the head with the pistol would have done him in. And Skrunk actually finds himself that frag. He can potentially escape, but he's cut off by JR, so this rifle isn't going to be recovered. Instead, Hellraisers keep that 3 alive, keep the rifles in their hands. And now we'll get to see the buy from ATTAX. The AWP investment from Slacks, something that was missing for so long yesterday. We'll see if he can get online early. JR's got his own AWP as well, so it will be a straight up challenge at some point or another from both sides. Slacks doesn't usually take these sort of aggressive angles, doesn't go for these flashy plays. We were talking about how much of a sort of turret AWPer he is, so I think the initiative does fall onto JR to initiate those duels, but ATTAX, they'll start things off with some utility over towards Banana. And while there's tag damage done on the nades, ATTAX, they are actually looking for a bit more control. Well, Hellraiser gave this up so many times yesterday, but now they want to get in ATTAX's face.
Well, Hellraisers, maybe they were able to see... Oh, that's beautiful. Speaking of being able to see, JR can see right through that smoke and take down Skrunk. One thing I do have to commend JR for is the fact that he will go for the AWP on more difficult op-D side maps like Inferno. Although he doesn't always do too well with it, it's always fun to see him at least try and adjust his angles a few times here and there. He has had a few problems on Inferno, especially when he's a little bit too telegraphed, but I don't know if Alternate Attacks is a team that will actually be able to read that, considering how incredibly defensive they like to be on the CT side, which I personally really dislike. But let's see how this A side offense goes for Hellraisers. While Cressy will be taking the first duel, Jalen taking him down, Stefan the trade away, and that's all on Murbit.
No pick given over. Mirbit's in for a bit of a sickly situation now from the shelter, and while Kalinka clears him out, Slacks, what can he get done here with the AWP? Spots out JR, so it's at least a frag that pulls things closer and closer, and they may be tempted into it, but they've lost site control. That smoke towards Moto as well as a signal for them to save.
So again, we see the exact same thing that I am very critical of Alternate Attacks from in Inferno, is that they just like to sit down inside the site and die. It really feels that way. They're relying on their players to get multi-kills every single round once they're put on a disadvantage, and sometimes when they're not even put in a disadvantage. And that's just not likely to happen, especially when you've got Slacks' AWP on one side of the map. If he's never going to be accessible in a retake, then he needs to be able to at least move around and intercept the terrorists before they get there. So again, we see over here, sure, Slacks gets a kill. It really has no impact whatsoever, though, unfortunately.
Yeah, it's weird we compare that to what we saw from them on Mirage yesterday, where they like to seem to like to get aggressive on places like A ramp, underpass, kind of push top middle. That sort of dynamic transfers to Inferno as well. You don't want to let your opponents have full run of the map and just execute how they wish, and sort of play this pick oriented style where they're constantly the ones pushing the initiative.
And that's especially bad against JR with his style of opening, where he talked about how he can be predictable, but you're never going to find out about that predictability if you're just sitting back inside your sights. Now, Hellraisers, they're consistently contesting over towards Banana. They've dodged most of the utility early on, so some damage done, but nothing significant. Jalen, however, he's flashed up. That's big. Strong finds the timing, comes through, takes him down. And with that, maybe we can see something extra coming out from Slacks as well. These 4 players on this A side are convening, but Alternate Attacks have got plenty of players. Merbit finds one. Cressy doubles it up. And now it's a 2 versus 4, where Flairich and JR have the odds stacked against them.
Yeah, still a minute 10 left. JR with the bomb holding his flank, making sure that if attacks get over Angsty in that direction, he will be able to punish Flairich still in the meanwhile, holding onto as much site control as possible. Eventually, attacks will want to get some information here as to where Hellraisers are going. Stefan, how much further out does he peek? Does JR find the timing? So far, he looks like he's catching them in transition, and JR hits the shot he needs to. Brings it closer and closer, and with Flairich still lurking on this bomb site, he could certainly catch them out. Stefan, ooh, he hears the steps, and he has a very fast flank.
This is huge, Stefan. He can hear JR scoped in as well. JR drops down. And now Stefan's spotted, and JR knows where he is, but there's 25 seconds on the clock, so he knows he needs to make his move, and the move is incorrect. Cressy, right behind him, can peek him out and take him down. 4-1. Auto attacks find themselves on the board with a very well-timed flashbang over towards Banana.
Yeah, I got a little bit concerned for the man on the flank there. He gets spotted out by the graveyard player, and it's
could have become a 2 versus 2.
Yeah, I like seeing sneaky plays. So when you see someone get spotted out like that, it's always a little heartbreaking. But yeah, attacks, they recover the round. It comes off the back of a good hold from out of that apartments jump out from Hellraisers. Well, they can't afford up a buy once more. They have JLam on the SMG to try and make it work. Slacks, ooh, looking maybe for an angle to start off this round, but his steps, the utility, it forces him back, and so he'll throw some of his own attacks. They get control of Banana once more, and they're footage far pretty deep. Jalem lurking through the smoke. Skrunk's able to find a gap and attacks another man advantage to start things off.
This is a very different attack to what we saw yesterday. They're doing such a good job of Banana control, and Slacks is not being contested with multiple players. Merbit peeks out immediately to take down another, and it's suddenly a 5 versus 2. We saw Slacks yesterday in that exact same position as Stefan even finds JR. Leaving Flash in a 1 versus 5. Oh, all right, Merbit. Okay. He does find a quick kill on Flash though, so yeah, he's also got rhythm. Maybe Merbit's learning, you know?
I mean, we're seeing adaptations from attacks from yesterday's games. The secondary off being employed as well. That just makes things a little bit easier for Slacks. He can stay on that A bomb site while Flash will cover one of those AWPs, get himself into a safe position. It's a round he doesn't seem to want to contest all that much.
Well, like I said, I was quickly mentioning, Slacks got onto position and short over there multiple times yesterday, but the difference was that Alternate Attacks was always getting flashed off over there. Crazy, whenever they tried to get in onto short and Inferno, they were very meticulous with their flashbangs, and over here, I feel like Hellraisers is just worried that they're giving up too much information if they flash him out of position, and they want to take that drive peak. And this is where I think the difference in coaching mentality and whatnot also comes in. Hellraisers as a team has found a lot of success doing this, but when you're going up against oppers who will consistently hit their shot on you no matter what happens and then be able to back off, you either need to have 3 players running at him so they can just track him down, or you need to be able to flash out every single corner before you're peeking with 2. This time, unfortunately, not quite the case, and Hellraisers aren't really able to come out on top in that regard.
Right, so what is the decision here from Hellraisers? Seems like they're committing to the buy around JR's up, and you can understand why. They're only on a 2-loss bonus now, so well, they'll get 2,400 next round, and they'll be all right in a couple of rounds. We'll see if they can get some magic out of JR to start things off. Maybe even go for that logs boost once more, but like you said, Attack's doing a much better job of locking things down towards Banana, getting some early control, and actually punishing any of these sort of sneakier plays that Hellraisers might employ in that direction. But a lot of this will have to stem from that AWP. Not a lot of real supporting firepower on this Hellraiser side. And, well, they've already suffered a lot of damage on Jalen.
If Merbit also got some spams in, that would have been quite heartbreaking if you're a Hellraisers fan. I'm curious about where JR is, to be honest. Where is he just peeking down from mid? Yes, he is. So he's expecting the push to come through. Scrunk got very, very aggressive before. Maybe they're hoping to be able to catch him off doing this exact same thing, but a resmoke and a flashbang coming in from Stefan to support him is going to be very, very important. Now, Scrunk, he's going to continue to be careful. He's flashed up initially, but he's good for 1.5. The question is, can Stefan follow up? No, he can't. Not when Flash is hitting shots like that. And not only does Flash pick up the AWP, he'll have it in the post-plant situation, which is going to make this retake so incredibly difficult. Slax is blindly trying to hit some shots. The bomb will be planted soon enough. Cressy can find one, yes, but there's still 3 rifles very well available. And alternate attacks do not have the most brilliant of all economies.
Yeah, they're still tempted into this. JR holding that angle towards spawn. They're hoping to contain them at the very least. Make sure that HELLRAISERS lose these rifles to the bomb, or at least one of the players that prevents the retreat. But they're giving up the round. ATTAX are conceding the site. HELLRAISERS, they'll take that round off of the force by commitment around that AWP, just overwhelming those B-site defenders. A setup that ATTAX have implemented a couple of rounds now in a row. It's readable. You can see even the pressure there from Scrunk, spamming aggressively away. Well, they'll try to escape. I don't think they'll get away with these rifles. Yeah, they all go down with the bomb or by Cressy, and that's about as much as you could have hoped for ATTAX.
I would have really liked to see them throw the ops away if they could have, but obviously they thought they would be able to get away to safety, so can't really blame them for that. Like I said before, though, what a shot coming out from Flaric with the deagle right onto Stefan's head while Stefan was scoped in. And Stefan was even scoped in from the left of the crates. He was not scoped in from the right side, which is the typical pre-fire angle. So really, really nice shot over there. Now, full MAC-10s coming out. They're trying to exploit the double op that they know they've maintained on the CT side, and so aggressive from the terrorists over here. Stefan has to come up big. He's found one, but it's already Scrunk who's flashed off and might be brought down soon. Skrunk's taking a lot of damage, and finally he falls, but in the process, the teams have already lost 3 players. Ooh. Stefan with a flick and a half brings it to a JR 1 versus 4. JR would really like to be able to plant that bomb, get some more money. Could have even gotten a kill on Stefan, but unfortunately runs out of ammo, and there you have it. Great shots from Stefan. Why weren't they using the double up before? This man can certainly hit shots. Much flashier than we typically see, but ATTAX, that small change from yesterday, it is seemingly going quite a long way. Although Stefan gets demolished last round, he makes up for it in the gun round investment from HELLRAISERS. Stefan coming up huge there, though, absolutely. Yeah. At the same time, HELLRAISERS also just... When they got trapped into pool / Hobbit, that's where they just completely got demolished, because the MAC-10s are terrible from that angle. You really need consistent spray to be able to get that. So perhaps some pathing issues coming in as well, where they're not really willing to get up on top of the small pool wall as well, because of the fact that, unfortunately, they're more worried about Stefan than anything else. And why wouldn't they be? Because the op is quite difficult to deal with. Scrunk will go down to nades, but Slacks has already found one. Cressy peeking out for some more. He will have a P250, taking him down to a single point of HP. So HELLRAISERS is probably not too happy about that.
Well, a susceptible player over towards the A-bomb site is certainly a more enticing offer, but HELLRAISERS don't quite know that he's as low as that. First shot from the AWP. The second one is there too. It's 2 ops to get things locked down. Slacks even has one to trade out into the M4, but another great shot being hit by Flaric. This secures them the plant. That's primary objective number 1 here for HELLRAISERS after they were so many men down to start this one off, but they could definitely take this one out from under them. There's a 1 HP player on Cressy. He's so susceptible. Stefan has to hit these shots. He's going to get rushed down, but they line up wonderfully for Cressy. 1 HP, no problem whatsoever. The lineup, the spray, ATTAX, the defuse.
That was a very nicely played retake, though, coming out from Cressy. Just use the bait from the AWP, he knowing that, you know, the op's probably going to miss the shot, or at least if it misses a shot. If it doesn't miss a shot, it's only going to find 1 player. Stefan, you see it right there, tried to flick away, but Cressy right behind with that distracting force doesn't have to care about the 1 HP. So Brilliant round, keeping 3 alive as well as both the ops as well. So although we're seeing good damage being dealt by Hellraisers, the economy isn't really going to be particularly impacted from the attack side.
Well, they started off this map very well on this T side, getting so many rounds in a row, but look at the aggression from ATTAX. They're a whole new team. What is this? Jalen for now, unchecked, uncleared, sitting in the smoke. They think it's all good. ATTAX. Do they know that this man is here? Okay, Scrunk just has an inkling. The spidey sense is tingling. ATTAX 5-1 in this round. Kalinka, what can he even do from here?
Pray.
Yeah, I'm in full agreement with that one.
There isn't much really you can hope to accomplish. The problem is, I wouldn't actually can't quite want him to try and fight them just to take a few guns away, because I mean, you don't have a buy the next round anyway. It's not like it's the AWP, that's a hero op, and Merbit does end up taking him down regardless. So 5-5, alternate attacks to equalize, and they do so in style. Banana control has been the one place where aggression's really been working out effectively for them. And they've also got some very good timings on it. So both the players getting aggressive over here with the 3-player stack on the B bomb side, turning out surprisingly well. Where yes, Grunk was caught out earlier on, trying to get aggressive into Cubby, but this time Hellraisers, they also make the mistake of not having anyone playing anti-flash at all when they're rushing up. But at the end of the day, it is what it is. Slacks though. Run boosted across. Oh. Nades coming in. Skrunk will yet again fall. That's the second time this game where he has gone down at the exact same angle to a nade stack.
Oh, Cressy here to sweep up the pieces. First kill is good, but the recovered rifle by Kalinka could certainly cause some issues. There's still a couple of players over towards that B site. Mirbit, he might not be suspecting the late push here from the likes of Flower. It spots him out eventually. This is going to be a must-win situation for Mirbit to be able to get out of. And a lot of tag damage done. He might have just found a pathway to get himself out of here, but the trade, okay, not going to be available. Mirbit sprays both down. The lack of armor, certainly a factor. And, well, what hope they had in overwhelming and maybe getting a bomb plant on A is faded away to non-existence. Jalen.
Jalem's going to get the knife.
I don't believe.
I believe. Jalem, come on. Jalem. Okay. If he had the knife out, he would have won that round. I am a Counter-Strike expert. I have made my verdict. My verdict, however, is also in Hellraisers in this next round, and that is that they really need to be able to stop alternate attacks on the B-bomb site with some better flashes and a few players playing anti-flash. Honestly, if you want, you can even just smoke off the top banana area to make sure they can't get aggressive and use that as a lurk smoke and get behind it to line up your nades, line up your flashes. You know alternate attacks likes to get aggressive. The Carrigan smoke in particular comes to mind, where you just bounce it off the wall and let it fall down, and Frerich will also be falling down. Slax's AWP coming in slightly more effective than yesterday, I think it's safe to say.
Yeah. Both, I mean, just the fact that they've got two AWPs that are really hitting the shots they need to on attacks is going a long, long way. Hellraisers, by and large, when they've won banana control, it's been on pistols. When it's come to rifle rounds, attacks have this under lock and key. Mirbit is going to be happy to take that frag. Problem not fully clearing, not fully trusting that that's going to be a player there. And they're just hitting shot after shot. Attacks are in a groove at the moment. JR, he found the one kill on Cressy, but he hasn't had too many chances to work picks with this ult.
And again, we see the same lack of flashes coming back to bite them. Slacks from the exact same angle that we saw earlier, watching out for a push inside Boiler, is just immediately able to come out on top with that second kill. If they have the flashes, they're able to force him off and isolate Stefan. At least you're probably looking at a 2 versus 3 rather than a 1v4. Maybe at a 3v3, depending on how things go. GR is hoping to find some sort of fortune, though. At least take down a quick flare. He's jiggling out the shot. Indeed, does bait it out. But with nades and flashes coming his way, he's re-peeking into Slacks, and he played it correctly. But unfortunately, at one point, you just have to be faster at pulling that trigger.
Oh, well, Cressy tops the leaderboards again for attacks, which we're so saying we don't expect him to be up there, but I'm sure it's a welcome sight for attacks. Slacks is not far behind. A man on a mission After yesterday's performance, he is certainly proving that conversation null and void. It doesn't matter. It doesn't transfer to today. And while it's the pistol investment here from HELLRAISERS, the half buy to try and get a little bit more control, see if they can get that distance on those AWPs.
Oh, this is very, very, very brave, and it's actually surprisingly well timed as well. But they might be going into the mincemeat machine that is Cressy. Cressy comes in with one Merbit on the supportive. Can't really get too much more than that. But these pistols are not going to be long for this world. Scrunk, in the meanwhile, does get destroyed by Jalem. So there is that at the very least. Is going to be able to pick the AWP up on Jalem as well. But pushing through the smoke is never a tantalizing prospect at the best of times. JR, 1v4, no rail shots. And I have to say, I'm very, very impressed by what Auto ATTAX have brought to the table. In the last 3 times I casted ATTAX, they did not show this additional depth of being able to take banana control this consistently. And sure, this time, you know, A site has still been very, very defensive, where they're not going for too much. But I like the change coming out on banana especially. They're very, very rarely actually letting HELLRAISERS through. And part of that is HELLRAISERS having a few issues with their utility usage, but I cannot give enough credit to ATTAX for making adjustments in just a single day. And we also can't really give enough credit to our partners over at Hellcase. And they're pretty good people. They're actually the biggest and most known case opening website with almost 100 cases, updated case battle, upgrader, dozens of giveaways per month, and more absolutely unique features. That's pretty great for a partner site. And you also won't get bored with them. You won't get bored with Hellcase. Use promo codes and save more and grab what you can. There you have it.
Well then, maybe HELLRAISERS, this will be the round that finally breaks this one through. ATTAX have won so many in a row now. They must be getting frustrated. They had a good start to this game, but now things are slipping away. ATTAX, they're a competent and strong T side as well. So no real sleeping room, no breathing room can be given to them. HELLRAISERS want to close that gap as much as possible. The wrapping smoke in towards the arches once again, this time Meerbit playing behind it. And while there's no rotation on ATTAX to really stop them from making their way in through spawn, this things get a little bit more interesting here. Their options open up in towards splits, towards both sites. And Meerbit has to be very concerned about how he approaches this. This kill in towards spawn could be so huge. Problem finally springs it through. And that'll be the trigger, but Meerbit, he catches them, he lines them up on the spray, and that throws a huge spanner in the works here for the HELLRAISERS plan. Cressy as well locking down banana. Things going wrong left and right for HELLRAISERS.
Cressy plays that perfectly. He knows that they're going to be expecting the Scrunk position, but Skrunk's already dead, so Cressy, who'd now push forward to recontrol banana, he's able to get so much done. JR lost a fall, and now HELLRAISERS are staring down what should be a 10-5 if the economy is anything to go by. And look at this spray from Merbit. Perfect positioning, perfect time to come swing out, use his teammate's death to his advantage.
That's now 7 in a row for ATTAX.
Yep. They've really found their footing.
Yeah, that is a bit worrying, because you expect some of the star players on the HELLRAISERS side to really be having great performances, but everybody's pretty neck and neck on that T side. They're trading pretty effectively where they're given the chance, but ATTAX, while it's not the most lockdown defense over towards B, it's killed by Problem while blinded up. That's a Hail Mary, but Stefan, he's hit so many shots on this AWP, he still holds control over B.
This was such a nice setup from Auto ATTAX, and I'll talk about that in a second, because Stefan has about as much time to get the flick onto the boosted player as he sees Flaric, but Flaric has been fantastic with those first bullet headshots. His accuracy has been very on point. Double smoke coming out from CT is not ideal. It means that they won't quite have as much time to stall in this retake situation. CT side, flashbangs out. They're revealing their position, more than happy to flash themselves off even. Flax is no stranger to a wall of white. Merbit. Smoke goes out to block out banana. That shouldn't matter all too much. Flaric. Oh, great Molotov actually coming in. That's behind him. It'll be forcing out his teammate. Jalem is into the open. Flaric is brought down. They get another one, and it's Jalem to be the one to find them all at the end of the day. Jalen being forced out of position over at Secret ends up working against them.
Yeah, I thought for sure Flowers was dead. That round could have certainly spun out of control, but Hellraisers hold onto it.
A quick
finally
thing
break
about ATTAX's B-site banana hold, though, is that, and we'll continue that in a second, ATTAX have continued to impress our partners over at LootBet, as their odds are still heavily in favor. So one thing that ATTAX did to adjust is that Hellraisers threw the Carrigan smoke, which is what a lot of teams are doing, where you rush up banana, you just bounce the smoke off the wall, and it will stop the automatic Molotovs. ATTAX finds a new lineup, which is bounced off the wall, so that even though you've got that smoke down, it doesn't actually extinguish the flames. And that's what gave them so much time. Jalen over here is combining forces with JR and Flerich to shut them all down, and he does so beautifully. That pistol round, I expected it to be a lot longer. I probably wouldn't have talked over it.
Well, ATTAX have implemented a bit of aggression on their CT side. Hellraisers, well, they can have a bit of aggression of themselves. They've shown a bit of their own medicine, made ATTAX chew on it, and while the pistol round is gone in a flash, there's of course the investment that we're oh so used to seeing. ATTAX with the SMGs, the pistols, we'll see if they can catch that distance. We'll see if there's cash farmed up on this Hellraiser side. They're looking to really bounce back, recover at the end of that last half. They lost their footing to start off their T side. Maybe they can build up some momentum on CT.
Jalen flashed or backed off as well. Cressy's finding one, but is Jalen detected? Yes, he is, but he will come out with another kill before finally going down. Murbit, who drops down to pick up the M4, will need to start stepping up soon. It's actually Stefan who's holding on to it. They've got the bomb plant down at the very least, so money's guaranteed, but they want more than just that. Right now, it's Murbit with the MP9 who's really thinking of getting aggressive through that smoke, but problem firing right back is not enough to secure JR's life. Murbit gets up aggressively, deagle in hand, at the ready, knows there's a player next to him, but he isn't spraying him down just quite yet. Stefan turns around with a huge 2K. 10 rounds for all ATTAX in a very chaotic state of affairs where Hellraisers simply cannot adjust.
That's just mechanics at work there from Stefan. Shot after shot being hit with that recovered M4. And like you said, the chaos that ensues on that A bomb site. It's a rough one for Hellraisers. The 1-for-1 trades in that A bomb site, it subjects those armored opponents to those weapons to recover. That's really what puts them in such a great spot. And while they wanted to get some momentum underfoot, ATTAX have thrown that for a bit of a twirl, a curveball. JR, though, nice shot to start things off with the deagle. And a second as well. JR taking names for Hellraisers. They're not out of this round.
Come on, JR. Give me that third shot in. He sees the smoke coming out. And let's see. Oh, they're even blocking him off everywhere. They know they don't want to lose any more. Oh, you've got to be feeling afraid if you're on the ATTAX side. Jalen at least is a quick kill, but there's Kalinka from behind, pushing through the smoke with two. Lee Scrunk, very lonely, and that loneliness is about to be corrected as Flerich peeks out. He was fantastic with the deagle in the first round as well, but this round was all JR and Kalinka.
We're getting some aiming displays today. JR, I mean, that's clean. And just the attention that he brings, right? Having to smoke off everything, that opens that door. The numbers advantage, they can't hold everything. Kalinka takes advantage, and well, that's all she wrote. A back and forth state of affairs off of the force buys in response. This war of attrition starting very early on in the second half.
Well, the CT side generally doesn't benefit too much from it, but if they keep chiming in like this, then I can't see any way this could go wrong. Well, I can, that's a lie, but you know what I mean.
Seeing so many really good aim displays from
just
not even just individual players, it's making me feel a certain type of way.
Jealous is the word you're looking for.
Envious. I think jealousy is to imply I had some of this.
One day maybe. You know, if they introduce aim assist into Counter-Strike like they did with the Xbox version.
Please don't. Yeah. I'll...
Right now, they need some sort of assistance, and Hellraisers is not giving it to them with their man advantage. They're backing off, and they're saying, you know what, you think you can play defensive? Watch us literally turtle away inside our sites. You can rotate wherever you want, take control of CT if you want, but nothing else is going to come through. Kalinka, good damage onto Merbit, but not quite the kill, so he has to continually feel afraid. And these three players, they will be spotted out by Problem, but Problem with the AK has to come out huge, and he could even be caught off. Because at this point, he knows they can creep into construction. So this is such a sketchy place to find yourself. Merbit is trying to be the lurk, but that lurk could be caught off by Kalinka as well, who's now checking second mid, rotating over. The T's have gone over towards... Oh, that smoke's massive, but Kalinka finds Merbit. The bomb will be planted at the very least. A Mac-10 in the hands of Cressy. What can he find? Nades, flashes coming through. Problem to find one, but is it going to be two? Connects in the end of that spray, leaving Stefan alone in a 1v5.
No, he's been on form, but this is going to be a tall order. First one there, more to follow as they all peek him simultaneously. Doesn't know which one of them to shoot, which one of them's got the headshot he needed. And while Hellraisers, they'll sweep up the anti-eco. They finally break it. They make sure that these pistols don't continue to win round after round, and they are closer and closer to tying things up.
Oh man, look at that second kill from Problem as well. You've got to be feeling so unlucky if you're Cressy, because you're thinking, ah yes, I have gotten away. And then that one last bullet catches you off. 10-9 though. Are we going to see an eco? I wouldn't be surprised if they bought up, but it is alternate attacks, so I suppose it's less likely.
I admire the dedication here from Skrunk.
Yeah.
He's got the Zeus on the T side. I mean...
Man, he knows what the God of Lightning is all about, okay?
We can't keep bringing it up. They can't keep getting away with this. Skrunk. Oh. Trying to do his best Foon impression over towards the apartments. Catch them out with that Zeus. But all the meanwhile, his teammates are losing lives in towards bottom middle. And, well, top middle as well.
All the middles.
Just not middle.
That's true. Speaking of people losing lives, Skrunk is depreciating real estate value, as definitely an apartment generally will. Next up is Slacks. Fortunately for him, he's not really around any residential areas. Problem finishes off Merbit, and 5 players kept alive. Really good round from Hellraisers to start building up their cash, especially going into the alternate attacks buy round over there. So you've got 2 AKs on the Hellraiser side, already a good sign, and the AWP, and on top of everything, you've got over $5,000 on everyone except for Fleric. Great place to be if you're the CT side going into your first gun round of the game.
Nope, they haven't been able to get the AWP out on Slacks. Not something that we are too opposed to seeing, really, just given how passive and Opry typically has been. But Stefan has been great. So even if it's a mantle shifted over, we wouldn't be too surprised. But they're getting caught out by the pace here from ATTAX. Through second middle they go, and they find 2 picks. There's actually one over towards the short position as well, just based on the Molotov. And, well, now it's just Flaric trapped within the bomb site, trying to remain elusive. But from the high ground, Stefan spots him out. And, well, Hellraisers, yeah, a quick call to save. Understandable.
Big kill to find as well. Otherwise, he could have been the wrench that undid everything. Alternate attacks, where I said Hellraisers was starting to build up their economy. The T side are very comfortable with this victory. Remember, they are not reliant on being able to purchase up AWPs on Slacks. Slacks is actually a fairly respectable rifler as well. So that is something that is already going to be a big deal for them. But Slacks, you know what? If you're going to gift it to him, if he can see it on JR's dead body, then you really can't blame him, can you? At this point.
Yeah, absolutely. And he's hitting the shots that he was missing yesterday. So much better form. Attacks a change of pace that goes a long way for them. And it seemed like Hellraisers wanted to get aggressive, right? They were sort of posturing up for a bit of presence through middle, hoping that ATTAX were focusing on banana controller or something instead. And, well, they meet them head on in a way they didn't expect.
Really good bracket stake from alternate attacks, you're right. Especially the secondary Molotov to be able to get the swing. The Molotov was slightly delayed, so it just means that the Hellraiser side will be mollowed off on one players in the crosshair, regardless of what happens if they're trying to go aggressive, which they correctly predicted. So Really good stuff. Smoke's coming out to try and take banana control. Not as effective as it was from the alternate attack side, but nades coming in are quite big, and Skrunk is heavily tagged down. Maybe this could be a quick kill to find. Flashbangs go out, Problems peeking through, looking for one, but it's a second to take him down. Kalinka now has to come up huge. Flashed off, dodges the flash, and he backs off to safety.
Both those players are oh so low, so you can see a multi-kill really building here for Kalinka. Lands the first shot, the spray transfer is a possibility, but they're not giving him the chances. Flourish, this is a crucial fight in towards the apartments. This builds a lot more pressure if attacks come out ahead. The gun barrel spotted out. Cressy not able to adjust in time. Flourish to overwhelm, and those two players that are on the site. JR, he holds the cross, prevents them from tracking that player down, and JR's taking names with the AWP. Low HP or not, JR is dancing with them, and he's happy to allow Flourish to operate now. The bomb dropped at the hay bales. That jump up could have been heard or spotted out, and they have encroached this side. They are completely trapped here. Slacks, yeah, not a chance. All four players for Hellraisers were in close proximity, and an equalizing round for them.
Alternate attacks feel the pressure. They know that they have to come out on top, and they can't let JR get away with these kinds of rounds where he's just getting peak after peak without really being checked out. Attacks knows that they can 2-0 this, absolutely, but if it goes to Dust 2, ooh, that is a tough prospect. That's not an easy one to take away, even if your individuals are looking really stellar.
Well, Kalinka's going to look for an opening opportunity, but he hears the steps, he hears the presence, has to fall back. The Molotov will buy him a little bit of space, but they're hot on his heels.
Kalinka. Smoke and the nade going out.
Does Skrunk really just have a Glock?
You'd be surprised what you can do with a Glock. You can scratch your back with it, because it barely does any damage if you accidentally shoot yourself. Don't take that as actual advice, guys. I'm joking, please. Jalen with an AK-47. Swings out wide, finds the first. That's the AWP taken down as well. Merbit and Cressy are good with the trade. Kalinka on the AWP is here to keep things steady on that CT side. Flashes onto Flare Edge will let them out, but Kalinka will not let them in to that bomb site. Merbit now left in a 1 versus 3. That is practically impossible, and he knows it. He needs to find a kill before he can make anything happen.
He's hoping they've lost track of him at some point or another, but I think they're spotted out by the jump spot by Flourish, and that'll be enough. It seemed like a small miscommunication, just not quite managing the money on that attack side. I mean, you'd think Skrunk running around with the Glock, that's a bit of a mistake. But, you know, someone could have dropped him a P250 or something, but what a great hold from here from Hellraisers. The fact that they maintain control of short and they can just take down those wrapping players so effectively. A nice round for them, but small miscommunication, some breakdowns on the attack side as well.
Oh, okay. Those are a lot of grenades coming out. Jalen says, grenades aren't enough. I need eco frags. I need kills. My M4 is hungering for blood, and blood is found. Jalen, unfortunately, will also find some of his own blood spilling over the gun. Stefan to take him down. Problem still fighting back. Very unnecessary aggression actually coming out from alternate attacks seemingly, but I think they won't really punish it. Slacks finds that kill. Oh, this is actually really bad.
He doesn't have the bomb.
Yes, but he can bait them back. They don't know that. If he peeks out with the AWP, this would be big, but now they should have an idea that he doesn't have the bomb. They smoked him off. He's got a smoke of his own. At this point, Slacks could play the mind games, could be trying to guess them out. He should know there's a player here, but he peeks into that. Okay.
I think he thought they knew the bomb was down, so maybe both players would kind of circulate around it.
Maybe. Yeah. It's forgivable, but a lot of damage dealt though from alternate attacks on the Hellraiser's side, and you can see it reflecting in their economy as well. To be honest, Shalem no longer as stable as he was before.
Well, attacks will still need a couple of rounds in a row to really break the bank. Such a good economy on a number of players on Hellraisers. They can make up for Jalem, and JR, while he'll try to open things up, Be a swing and a miss. Attacks taking a lot of damage from utility though. Stefan already down to 19 HP.
I'm very curious to see how Hellraisers adjust late round once alternate attacks tries to go back. If alternate attacks is able to figure out that this much utility coming in probably means that there's quite a few players. Slacks is flashed off. This is the point where you should be able to make a call that there's 3 players. We've had almost all the utility being wasted for just 2. Kalinka is moving in. Problem's the one to really add 1 more to the tally, though. He's the one who makes it into a 4 versus 3. And alternate attacks, not quite adept at that read, unfortunately.
Now, do they continue moving on to it? They're expecting some sort of a wrapping play from the archers, so JR has to give Problem this isolated duel, and that opens the door for Mir. But now JR alone on this site. Can they overwhelm him with the orb? Will he show us what he's made of? The first kill is easy. Mirbit not even looking the right direction. That flick adjustment from JR. That is fast. Slacks, can he pick up the pieces? He finally takes down JR. The bomb to be planted. There's a couple players moving in together. They want to make sure it's an easy enough trade, but Slacks could certainly make this a possibility.
Black has to come out huge to make up for what has been a slightly sloppy round in places from auto attacks. He's going to be peeking out wide, hoping to catch a player off with a Molotov in his hands, but he's not willing to go wide enough. He finds a shot, backs off, and now it's a 1v3. Repositions in the 1v1. And Flarage, well, he's got a flashbang. He ends up flashing himself. Slacks needs to go out. Flarage knows he's there, but he's got the kill. Slacks, unfortunately, not having the nerve to just stick it out, speak calmly and slowly, and there you have it. 14 rounds for Hellraisers, but that was so sloppy from ATTAX, man. JR, you see these kills happening? Now, I want you to consider that Mirbit had a Molotov and a grenade, and Cressy had himself a Molotov, which comes true, but he jumps up to do it while revealing himself instead of just throwing it safely, which is... It's not even a lineup. You literally just... It's one of the easiest throws in the game. It's very unorthodox from auto attacks who are generally really good with their utility.
Some great shots by JR, but some definite spacing mistakes and utility from ATTAX. And well, Problem, this is just silly. Stefan, thankfully, brings things back to normality. Get that P90 out of here. A great spray adjustment from him. And while the advantage started in Hellraiser's favor, it's quickly cascaded into ATTAX's hands. Hellraisers are close, though. They're 1 away from at least guaranteeing the overtime, but this might not be the round to do it. Cressy into the apartments, finding that kill as well. They have options open.
ATTAX hasn't had this many openings in a very long time at this point. Hellraisers, I mean, we talk about how they're 1 round away from overtime. They're also 1 round away from potentially having their money broken if they lose another one after this. So you can see Hellraisers are not going for the save. They're just going to try and find kills, and that's working out for them somehow. Flarage finds 3. I don't know, man.
Goodness.
I know I said alternate attacks is a decent D-side team, but right now they're not showing it, unfortunately.
I mean, this is chaotic. This is a bit silly. Stefan, the great equalizers, but I mean, that was a 2 versus 4 for Hellraisers. Both players getting the kills they need to. That is, yeah, that's a round that should really not be happening, but Hellraisers will take it. They'll be more than happy to punish the mistakes of ATTAX. A round that was in the palm of their hand. They're gonna just try and throw it all to the wall, fast in towards Banana. It's only Scrunk with the SMG. A 1-for-0 exchange, and they're not done yet. Problem pushing further forward. Stefan taken down as well. This is a Hellraisers round to lose now.
Well, alternate attacks are against the wall, and they know that it's only individual skill that can bail them out at this stage. 4 players already on this A bomb side as well from the CTs. It doesn't seem like this round's even possible. There's a minute left, which is the only thing they have going for them, that the time is in their favor. But beyond that, even Kalinka with this M4 in this position, it's very likely he might even go unchecked because they are feeling so much pressure.
Yeah, no Molotov to flush it out, so it has to be a clearing from Slacks and Kalinka. Perfect timing to catch him as he goes to peek it. Cressy falls as well. Hellraisers sweep it all up. All players stay alive in the last round to take their map pick. It was a pretty tough fought one towards the middle, but Hellraisers really pulling it together towards the end.
Yeah, Hellraisers, like I mentioned before, for really exploiting the weakness of auto attacks. Yes, there were moments where you're wondering what exactly is going on over here. You're saying, hey, Hellraisers, maybe not get super duper aggressive when you're up against ecos. And unfortunately, those mistakes happen as well. But at the same time, some really nice plays, some really good individual ceilings being showcased. And I think that really epitomized, that game in general epitomized what Hellraisers stands for. It's the fact that their individuals can be insane, and that was reflected by Flarich in quite a few rounds over there.
Yeah. And while Hellraisers tactically on their T side seemed to be missing a few pieces, when that last round of the half came through, or the last couple of rounds, we saw some really good timing on their executes. It seemed like they were kind of meshing chemistry-wise and timing-wise a bit better. And that really transferred to the CT side. They're playing these sort of bait and switches. They're making sure that a lot of these angles were covered, and although some really great shots were being hit on both sides of the coin, I think it's fair to say ATTAX have surprised me coming into today when we compare them to yesterday, but Hellraisers just that step above just in terms of that individual performance.
Yeah, Hellraisers, even on their T side, though, the individuals never stopped shining. We never stopped like having these crazy deagle kills from Flarich, from JR here and there. I will say auto attacks really disappointed me today, because I expected, when I saw that CT side adjustment, where I called it out early on that auto attack should probably lose this, but I never thought that they'd lose it because of their D side. I thought their CT side would be their weakness after yesterday's showing, but they clean up the CT side and suddenly their T is as messy as can be. They really couldn't get a read on what was going on from Hellraisers. They couldn't really assess how much utility is being thrown towards them and how many players that might signify. There were a lot of these small mistakes that were uncharacteristic, and especially visible in their utility use as well at times. So all in all, a sloppy display from Ultimate Attacks, but next map is Vertigo, and we know that one is one they're definitely favored to win. So if you're an Attacks fan, make sure to come back for that. And if you're a Hellraisers fan, make sure to come back for that as well. If you're not a fan of either team, well, thanks for being here for our sake in that case. Thanks for being here for good Counter-Strike, and good Counter-Strike will continue in just a bit. Welcome back to Malta Vibes, brought to you by Gaming Malta, a home of gaming excellence. We've got for you, I'm not going to say it again, don't worry. Maybe not excellence from auto attacks, but definitely signs of life from them in that first map. Unfortunately, life was also very quickly snuffed out. And I think, Yumi, you brought up a very apt point in away from the broadcast. I think you should probably bring that up again about summating how Inferno went compared to how Inferno went yesterday for the attack.
Yeah,
side.
I was saying I was impressed by them. You were saying you weren't impressed. It's almost because there was like a slider adjustment, right? You compare it to sort of like these performance sports replicas or these simulation games where it's like good at offense, good at defense, and then suddenly it's one or the other as opposed to being a full and complete picture for attacks. If they brought that same sort of chemistry from yesterday in their T side, then I could see them taking the map, but their T side fell a bit flat, while their CT side had a few more facets to it, a few more elements where we were getting kind of surprised by how aggressive they were being and taking the initiative away from HELLRAISERS.
Yeah, and as that graphic just showed us off, as well as this beautiful Grand Harbor, honestly, these pictures really make you want to go to Malta, but I guess who doesn't at this point? And these players definitely do, because if you're wondering what's at stake for these players, well, what's at stake for these players is a chance to win $20 and a week of boot camping in Malta at a 5-star hotel. And this knife round is going to matter quite a bit for that as we head into Vertigo. Vertigo's an interesting one, Yumi. Vertigo's one we saw HELLRAISERS actually coming out on top in yesterday pretty convincingly versus Budapest 5. And admittedly, Budapest 5 very clearly had no idea what they were doing on the CT side of the map. You could say auto attacks also got away with something of a similar result. So, who do you think this goes to?
Well, I think if we take anything away from the last map, if the sliders have been adjusted, if attacks are coming in with a bit of a different approach coming into this series, then I could certainly see HELLRAISERS taking this. They're certainly not a team that you can slouch on. In particular, just the ability to get into these forward positions and just be aggressive with players like JR, like Flarich, that just were hitting so many shots on Inferno that things could certainly get away from them. I still kind of favor attacks for this one. I think just because it's their most solid map and they seem aim-wise to be all there, that this should be a pretty run-of-the-mill game for them. But the odds, well, our partners over at LootBet, they seem to be in agreement. They think this is going to be a convincing one for attacks, 1.4 to 2.8.
The exact same odds as what we saw initially in the previous game. So I actually think these are fair. I think that auto attacks is very heavily favored when it comes to Vertigo. They're just one of the OG Vertigo teams. And we can see them coming up very quickly on the ramp where they've already taken a single kill away. JR's looking for something, but that is not going to come through.
Oh, the Molotov in. JLam 1 for 1, but he's lost his teammates without getting any kills. The nade being lined up by Kalinka is a good sign. Flarich, though, before the smokes bloom, that bomb dropped unexposed. Closer and closer. Flarich, he's maybe trying to deny this plan. Another fantastic set of shots from Flarich. What is that? Just like that, snapping from head to head. He gets everything done for HELLRAISERS on the retake. They didn't have a chance.
So, Flarich is one of those players, you look at him, and the first thing you think is, he's pretty good at this game.
Oh,
really, all there is
God.
to it. This isn't even one of those, oh my God, what amazing gameplay. No. Flarich just wrecked him, and I'm not even going to take anything away from him. Auto attacks played that properly. There was a very small delay between Stefan and Merbert peeking out towards him. That was not one-by-one twitch shot. I do not care what you think from the perspective of the replay. That was almost simultaneously. When it's a chaotic situation, that's as good as you're going to get regardless, and he just crushes them there and then. Beautifully played, and JLam unfortunately will throw away the advantage they gained a little bit early on. Auto attacks, though, still without Kevlar, they are largely focusing on investing into that third round.
Yeah, getting off to a good start for HELLRAISERS can certainly go a long way on ATTAX's map pick. Cannot be understated. This is their bread and butter, the best map they've got in the pool on the attack side, while Stefan will try his best to make things as convincing as possible for attacks, while JR is still taking names, finding heads, and actually a nice shot by Stefan. Still going to be traded out, but it's a winnable enough position now. Mirbit a couple of frags to find, a deagle in hand as well, separate duels available to him as he gets his hands on this bomb. Yeah, he has run of the mill of the map, 50 seconds to reposition. The steps will have been heard, a rotation coming in from Problem, but I think Mirbit beats him to the site here.
Problem went into mid accidentally, so yes, Merbit should be beating him, but Merbit's now stalling a little bit because he knows he needs to find that one kill before the bomb goes down. Problem's also got a grenade, so you can't really have an easy time planting directly into default. All right, Flarich, I see your 4K and I raise you a deagle. That deagle needs to come up again, though, and that is one thing that will not be happening. That being said, ATTAX takes away 4 players from the Hellraisers side.
Yep.
Hellraisers getting so crazy aggressive down in ramp. They win the round, but with the bomb plant, look at how much money ATTAX has. They will absolutely have the better buy. Even Flarich, who was actually able to get 4 kills earlier on, and so he should, you know, realistically have much better money. He's just on a farmers.
Yeah, not fully investing into that last round were ATTAX, but still bringing it oh so close. Just shy of winning it. And you're absolutely right, the buy stronger for ATTAX coming into their first gun round. The elements are there. Hellraisers kind of make it work with the suboptimal weapons. Kalinka, though, he's denied so much information in through middle. A fast flank opportunity opens up as a result.
Well, let's not forget, Merbit really likes to play around that mid area. He was able to find so much yesterday. So if Kalinka knows that, or if Kalinka is expecting that, he could just be taking Merbit down and taking away a huge amount of alternate ATTAX's resources in towards middle. Now, ATTAX, they've yet to commit even onto ramp. And the CTs are not really contesting with too much utility either. They're more than happy to let ATTAX while away the time, and Kalinka can work his magic in the meanwhile. So Kalinka clearing out so much presence, they should be feeling comfortable to even stack over towards that A bomb site, and Kalinka's coming in on the flank potentially.
Oh, Molotov in towards the sandbags, clearing out one of the troublesome angles in the approach towards A. But yeah, they're on a ticking time bomb here. The fact that Kalinka has so much control from behind makes things all the more difficult. 40 seconds to push on forward. JR, the high ground taken. First kill there. Skrunk able to trade things right back, but Jalem is able to take names on the ATTAX side. Mirbit's all that left, and Jalem the 3K to lock down a Hellraisers. In spite of the worst buy coming into it, they do a great job of shutting ATTAX down.
That's one of the best played CT rounds I have ever casted on Vertigo. Hellraisers plays that perfectly. Kalinka's able to exploit the fact that Merbit really likes to go for a late lurk, where he then later on goes into middle, or later on uses his flexibility to go wherever he wants. Kalinka escapes undetected, and with all the information, they're so comfortable stacking 4 players onto the side. Their Molotov timing is perfect as well. This is so good. Cressy now needs to find a quick kill. He finds a player with a grenade in his hand, but Kalinka does manage to evade his fire for a little while longer, but Cressy is feeling those M4 bullets, and they are not very gentle.
Nade sails over. Good damage found on Jalem. He eats that one head first. The players are tagged down. Okay, Stefan, barely a shoulder shown, but a kill found nonetheless. Jalem, he's hitting headshots himself, though. Quick adjustments made. Flarich there on the rotation. Well, a small silver lining for ATTAX to start off the round, but quickly taken away. Hellraisers off to a good start on the CT side.
Mental. Absolutely mental. These shots from Jalem. Yeah. Stefan, of course, starts off nicely, but you know, you can see that from Jalem. Full buy will be there from ATTAX, but they're starting off very weakly against Hellraisers on a map that, you know, for all intents and purposes, they're supposed to be dominating.
Yeah. When you look at the vetoes, it should be a one-sided affair, but Hellraisers, they're just hitting so many crucial shots. We've seen some great displays thus far. Jalem's on low HP this round, so he'll be neutered to start things off. And while Kalinka, again, another forward position found in through middle. He's got a timing where he might just beat these players out. He loses his teammate in Jalem, but Kalinka, this is the position that really matters. The kill in the flank, but he misses the shot. Slacks, he's able to adjust in time, gets away with a slither of HP. That could have gone so wrong for ATTAX, but they recover well. And now it's just the 2 remaining players for Hellraisers. They had the elements, the entries are there. Attacks have site control and problems left alone.
Flairich, unfortunately, also coming out with a bit of indecision about where exactly to peek. He thought he might still be able to catch Skrunk off, but Skrunk is very quick in pulling out his gun after throwing the Molotov. Otherwise, he should have died there and given them a chance at the very least. But you're right, that flank, if it gets a kill on Slacks, it's a completely different game. You have a lot more control over Ali. You have someone who can really create so much more chaos against the alternate attack side. And now, problem, he'll be falling. All 5 players go by the wayside for Hellraisers, and despite winning a few very good rounds there, money is at a point where if they lose 1 more in a row, that is going to be the reset coming in.
And that's a position from Kalinka as well, where maybe some unfamiliarity with sort of the timing that he might have had comes into factor. You almost look at that as an instance where trigger discipline is a big benefit, because Attacks had presence towards A. They didn't have anybody watching the flank. He could have lined up 2, been a bit more concise in his play. But yeah, in spite of those great positions that they had, Attacks, they come away with the round win. And now the money is starting to dwindle on Hellraisers. This will be a reset round if Attacks are able to come out ahead here.
Well, Attacks are going for a much more default-heavy play this time, but the problem is in their default, it's a very slow default. So Kalinka, if we can take a quick look at him, Kalinka's perspective actually is he's already down the stairs. So going over towards the B bomb site is so incredibly difficult. This flashbang should be giving away information that it is going to be a largely A hit. You should expect to see the rotation from players to come through soon, but Hellraisers are second-guessing themselves regardless, and maybe alternate attacks doesn't quite have the plans to go over towards A either, but from the minimap at least, it seems like it should be an A-side hit.
Yep, they are well grouped up. Only a couple players here for Hellraisers. JR holding the long angle with the AWP. Attacks, they're slowly working this. Molotov's in to eliminate some of these close ankles as they progress through lane. Counter Molotov by Hellraisers. They're buying more and more time for these rotations now, and Hellraisers are biting down on this. They've got 4 players in close proximity. They've got some utility to deny the plant as well, and they've got good positions to make this difficult for Attacks. Now 20 seconds left.
Flax needs to find this kill. He's in such a crucial position. He takes some problem. Can he find the follow-up? No, it's JR to take him down. Jalem trying to fight back. These smokes will be refreshed and the bomb will be going down. There's 10 seconds on the clock, but there's no nades to cancel this bomb plan. Skrunk will take it down, but will he go down with it is the question. Molotov goes in. It flushes out Jalem. Jalem's forced to smoke it off, and now he's also blocked off his own sightlines in the process of doing so. Flairich, however, through the smoke connects. And that's a 4v2 for the CT side. Cressy looking to fight back. They could be lining up for him, but Cressy's been baited out of that corner, leaving Murbit alone versus 3. This is an impossible situation, but he'll find the first headshot. He even finds a second perfect tap, and all 3 players are down. But the round goes the way of the CT side. Murbit.
Just a fraction of a second too late. They're sticking the defuse. JR buys enough time. If Mirbit comes out with that shot initially, that changes things. The timings could have worked out in his favor, but they steal it from under Attacks' nose. A great effort from Mirbit to even make that competitive. Almost wins the round for Attacks, but Hellraisers, they're just accumulating more and more on a map that Attacks thought they'd get the ball rolling on early.
The problem is still that Hellraisers is always 1 round away from being reset, so they need to win this one as well, and the pressure is on. We know they can deal with it, though. Stefan should know there's a player right around that corner. He saw that smoke coming out, and he finds the kill as a result of it. Jalem to go down, and that puts a lot of pressure onto them to make this rotation soon or choose to save one or the other, because next round is not a buy.
You can see Hellraisers cheating that rotation over. It's still a lot of time on the clock, but they're convinced that this will be an A-site progression from Attacks given that entry. JR even looking for a little bit more around the smoke. He'll go. The flash timing is perfect, though. Cressy lines them up. The double aggression from Hellraisers goes the complete wrong direction. Problem will try his best, but Cressy is hitting the shots he needs to. 3 thus far in the round, and Flarich, I mean, a great retake earlier on when it was a 2 versus 3. Not going to be given those same opportunities from the pistol.
So much of this situation that Hellraisers is in right now goes back to the fact that they contested down ramp with 3 players versus an eco round. They might have just thought that maybe alternate attacks isn't going to eco. Maybe they think it's going to be Kevlar, some utility. We're at more of a risk if we let them have ramp. But as a result of that, they were down to a single player with alternate attacks getting the bomb plant, which is why you can see attacks every single round. It seems like they've had a better buy than the CT side, despite the round differential above on your screen. Flarich will save the M4, but at this point, you are in double eco territory, so I wouldn't even be surprised if Hellraisers goes for a force buy around this M4.
And that's the thing, right? When attacks have won these rounds, they've survived with 5 or 4 players remaining, and Hellraisers typically by the skin of their teeth.
Sometimes not even that.
Yeah.
I mean, the previous round, they literally lost all 5 players.
Yeah. So money is certainly an issue on the CT side. They will buy around this M4. The most amount of money remaining on a single player is Flarich, followed closely by JR, but they are looking to get as much performance out of this rifle as possible. More T damage done than actual damage on their opposition, while Kalinka will suffer a lot of damage himself. These attacks players are tagged down from these pistols.
Flarich's positioning is so important over here. He can clear out at least 3 players if he catches them off. If Slacks misses a shot, Slacks even switches that to the AK because he knows that with the AWP, maybe Scrunk can still get something. The real problem for me is Cressy, because Cressy's been so incredibly instrumental in finding any sort of alley control that they've had, but attacks have already rotated over, and Hellraisers, they haven't cheated this. They haven't tried to come back. They still have 3 players over towards that B bomb site. Flarich as well, not really in position to get this flank going anytime soon. Scrunk needs to be taken down.
Well, timing shots attempted there from Jalem through the smoke, but attacks, they still have the numbers to play off of. The smoke there, Kalinka finds one through it. That makes things a little bit more difficult. That's at least a low HP player taken out of the round, but Jalem, oh, that position could have been the difference maker. Maybe it's privy to it though. Still an equal number as they now move on through, but the weapons certainly in favor of attacks.
I would not mind a save to come through from this point. Flarich already has that in mind. He's already moved back, and so have 2 other players. So it's all about JR. He doesn't have Kevlar. He knows that he's really not going to have much to do in this round regardless. So if he can get some damage into the T side, he's happy with it, because that's skill bonus for him, which is much more important than anything else, because he's the one saving up for the AWP. The Eagle saving in the next round could get him a kill, but realistically over here, once the bomb's really close to getting blown up, he does swing out and take down Slacks, and the bomb even takes away 1 more life. So pretty good job by him overall. I think he's happy with that. 2950 right now. You've got yourself a you have a 2400 loss bonus after that. You actually did need it.
Yeah, I admire the effort there, kind of throwing his body at the problem, trying to get rid of a few more rifles and attacks. But yeah, like we've been saying, the economy for attacks, in spite of the scoreline, is very, very healthy. So not too much of a dent made in towards their banks.
I wouldn't mind seeing JR drop the deagle from Kalinka, to be honest. Kalinka's already got money. Let JR, have a crack at it. Sure, Kevlar is nice, but if JR gets a little bit aggressive and he gets a kill, then Kalinka can come back and try and get the gun instead with full HP. I think there's a lot of things that aren't really properly explored sometimes. But Slacks is exploring that smoke very properly. Jalem is found out and taken down.
And while they've got a lot of presence towards B, they've double pushed it with a couple players on the Hellraiser side. They've lost this A bomb site pretty quickly. JR is the only one that stands between them and a bomb plant. While he's waiting for that operation to unfold, the Operation Crouching Tiger from behind, they are not going to be caught out by it as of yet. Hellraiser's not really even pushing the boundaries that much farther. JR getting his hands on that rifle to potentially save it into the following round again, and you can understand why he would even consider that option, because the 3 versus 5, his player is nowhere near him. He's just about whether he can get away.
Money's also generally really bad for them right now.
Yeah.
If Kalinka and Problem can save these Kevlars as well, honestly, that literally raises their buy effectiveness by about 20% because they can afford full M4s on all of these players. Otherwise, Kalinka and Problem would have had to go for Pharmacists. So this is a very significant save, and don't make any mistakes about it. Ulti Attacks, though, they're very happy to be up on 4. So Attacks, by this time, now they have their chance to prove that, hey, we can get out and ahead. And one website that's up, out, and ahead of every other one of its competitors is our partners over at Hellcase, who are the biggest and most known case opening website with almost 100 cases, updated case battle upgrader, dozens of giveaways per month, and more absolutely unique features. You won't get bored. Oh, thank you. You won't get bored with Hellcase. Use promo codes to save more and grab what you deserve. That should be there. Just a little
Enthusiasm had for partners and enthusiasm in the attacks camp. They have rebounded after a slow start on their T side. All Hellraisers have come in with another investment. They're looking to take control away from attacks. Presence towards B to start things off. Kalinka pushing further forward. Cressy, though, he wins the duel. Problem right behind him, trying to refrag as best he can, but he's one of the core players that has to stay alive for a B site split here because attacks are making short work on towards the site. Scrunk trying to find that entry, and there it is. The site's now theirs. Hellraisers, they stacked most of their presence towards that A bomb site, and well, now it's just a call to save again.
Kalinka's gone aggressive far too many times on B, unfortunately. Yeah. He was going to be getting caught off eventually, but at the same time, Problem, who's right behind him, who's supposed to get the refrag, he's forced back by a flashbang, and Cressy knows it's all about the time. If Hellraisers have an AWP in that round, maybe they can contest ramp with a little bit less presence and have one player back towards mid. But unfortunately, without the AWP, you actually need the 3 rifles to be able to play into it with full nades and whatnot. And unfortunately, that will be all she wrote as alternate attacks equalizes, and in a 5-5 with Hellraisers being in a very poor economic status. And one thing we haven't talked about too much is the oh no,
yeah,
that's huge. But one thing we haven't talked about too much is the fact that, you know, attacks at the end of the day, they have infinite money.
Yeah, Slacks is capped out, Mirabit as well. So yeah, just reinvesting in the utility where they can. I mean, they're losing out on some money if they win this round, but yeah, Hellraisers, that could have been another buy off the back of those saved weapons, but now instead it's just the solitary weapon in JR's hands. Attacks now 4 in a row on this T side. Some utility exchange, not sometimes the most ideal. Well, attacks after the initial presence that was felt towards that A bomb site, all that utility thrown by the CT side, they're looking towards B instead. It's a vacant bomb site as well. Flourish is investigating through middle. The rest of the team stacked towards A. While you'll hear the footsteps, it's a fleeting bit of information because I don't think there's much you can do from this spot.
Honestly, I appreciate this because Hellraisers, they don't make the decision that I would like to see, but do they? I don't really know. Maybe they're playing for exits. We'll have to wait to find out. So far, the only exits that are coming through are from the T side, though, as bullets exit the bodies of the CTs in a very unpleasant manner. But I was under the impression that they were going to save the Kevlars, honestly, because you're not winning this. That's the problem. And like I said before, Attacks has infinite money. You will never win this on a retake. It's literally not possible. 99 times out of 100, you lose that. And sure, these skills are nice. These skills are important. More for confidence than anything else, though. Well, if you contrast the fact that you can save $650, Hellraisers, you're not guaranteed to win this round either. Even if you win this round, you're not guaranteed to win with more than 2 or 3 players left alive. So that $600, those $1,000, they actually go quite a long way. So at least they do save some players, but you can see where my pettiness in economy comes in.
Yeah, as opposed to it being a dent in the economy, it's more like a little chip, one that can be easily filled in because, like you said, Attacks have practically infinite money. Almost every single one of their players capped out. JR Well, he's not had the most amount of funds so many rounds in a row. Finally gets his hands on the AWP, and with Flourish getting a kill in through middle, that's a advantage for Hellraisers to start. One that's been a lost sign from the start of this half.
It's been one of the first few times they've actually been able to successfully go into middle as well. Very important. But look at Skrunk. He's pushed up. Molotov right behind him. Forces him into the smoke. No one's checking this angle, though. And if he pushes out right now, he could find two unsuspecting players. Unfortunately, the smoke will be dissipating soon, and JR should be turning around, but JR's not got the timing. Jalem's got the flick. He's looking for more. Connects with a few bullets, but not enough as Stefan comes in from behind, and he will shut him down. Stefan, dear God. Stefan just sees it as heck. Stefan.
Oh, the nade right above Flaret. She'll be able to dodge out that damage. Could have been his undoing. This 3 versus 3 is certainly still doable here for Hellraisers. Those smokes won't last forever. The Molotov will try and deny it, but it's a missed one at that. And the nade, to follow up, he actually nades his teammate down to lower HP. Flaret won't be too happy about that one. Another smoke deployed to allow Stefan to reposition, but I don't think he's prepared. Yeah, Flaret flanks him out. As a result, a lot of attention being drawn by Slacks, but he has to hit that shot. That one was crucial. Cressy being elusive around the smoke. He'll go ring around the rose. He catches Kalinka looking the wrong direction, and Flaret with this low HP, there's certainly not the time nor the place to really contest this one. Can he escape? Can he bring this one closer, do more damage to the ATTAX economy? That doesn't really matter. Flaret, he doesn't even get away. The rifle gone. Another round for ATTAX.
Okay, two things. First of all, Hellraisers, unfortunately, communication very evidently completely broke down there. JR was supposed to come to his teammate that this is when the smoke is finishing off. The reason why he's boosted up on top of the concrete boxes is because he thinks Jalem's covering him on his side. Both of them looking down doesn't make any sense whatsoever in any circumstance at all. The only place where you can say, oh, hey, why not have both of them is if you're expecting one to maybe be flashed out. But even then, you want one person who's technically anti-flash and you can look out towards alley. So miscommunication there, followed up by some poor utility use, and that round could have gone completely differently. But unfortunately, Hellraisers are now going to be forced into a slightly uncomfortable situation, and that uncomfortable situation is exacerbated by the fact that, hey, we didn't really save those Kevlars before as well. And I know it sounds like a very minor thing, but 2 less pieces of Kevlar is actually quite impactful over here. You have less Molotovs, you have less smokes, you have less firepower. All in all, this is pretty significant, especially when you consider there's no kits.
Yeah, that now marks 6 in a row for ATTAX, who are really bouncing back. Hellraisers feeling the pressure, understanding why this is one of ATTAX's best maps in the pool. Rather, the best map they've got in the pool.
Yep.
Well,
Hellraisers just needs 1, though. That's the thing.
Yeah. On the T side, those sharp shots that we've been seeing can certainly be a bigger factor. The CT side, they're getting outmaneuvered. The utility, these small bits of miscommunication, this aggressive posture up by the CT side, though, works out wonderfully. 1 kill for each of the players. JR has a chance to escape as well and call for reinforcements.
It's a very big round for Murbit to come out alive. These 2 players, if they end up going down over here, then Murbit, his position in the back lines of B is going to be useless, but the rotations are coming out. Slacks will have been spotted by the AWP as Murbit now moves in onto the side, and their very rush rotations are called. Murbit has been fantastic so far, and now that he's in position, there's no reason to believe why he can't just get a few quick headshots. Unfortunately, the Molotov will reveal, but the headshots come through regardless. Further shots from Slacks as his AWP scope right in. Flaret is trying to save the day, and he will succeed for now. Slacks not having the time, not having the ability to come through and get out that bomb plant. Dinked up, finished off Flaret with 3, and those are the sharp shots that Yumi was talking about that you've got to be worried about going into the T side.
I thought that 1 kill from Murbit was going to be enough for them to get some space. Slacks as well covering with the ult, but Flaret just pushes further forward. The Molotov forced him into those duels, and he shines like a diamond. He's been a shining light for Hellraisers really on the CT side. We saw the great retake on A earlier. This time it's a retake on B. Those rotations from him have been very, very crisp.
Fire just single-handedly found them half their round so far, so definitely MVP so far on HELLRAISERS' side. And now you can see a much better buy coming out. They've got kits, they've got more Molotovs. They had quite a bit of utility before they chucked out half of it, but hey, it's fine. It's put to good use. Still an MP9 though, and the effects on your CT side economy are very long-lasting, unfortunately. Unless they win this one with 3-4 players kept alive, even the last round should not be perfect.
Yeah. And that's the thing for this half for HELLRAISERS. They never got a grip on that CT side economy. So very much a spot in which if ATTAX take this round, very likely a 9th as well. Flash in towards A ramp. They try to overwhelm, catch ATTAX off guard with the timing. But Stefan, those entries have been sharp as well. First kill in. Ooh, really rough one on Jalem. The smoke gives him a bit more coverage. And while it's a 1-for-0 exchange, that's now pushed further forward by Slacks with the ult.
Good flashbang will allow JR some space, but if he jumps up, there's 2 players to contest with Kalinka's caught off on the background, and Murbit doubles it up for more. JR is now stuck in the middle of deciding whether he goes for this or saves. Either one of those things seems to be impossible, though, as the flank is coming in from either side. They're trying to pincer him in, and they should be able to do so. Cressy to find the kill, and CTs to find nothing. 9th round even looks guaranteed for Alter ATTAX, but even so, HELLRAISERS, they're in a place where you could feasibly see them actually go out and frag out on the T side.
We'll see if they get a little bit more breathing room should they concede that pistol round. Of course, it's a worrying buy, the SMGs, the FAMASs, but one that could certainly see the light of day. The ATTAX are not prepared for that aggression. Kalinka once again in through middle is playing up close and personal, seeing if he can win a duel over towards Mirbit. But Skrunk around the smoke will go, and he catches Jalem. A little bit of insecurity that would have been felt if he knew there was a gap in that smoke, and they've lost that presence towards A. Skrunk, it pushes it further forward. It happens time and time again. ATTAX are compounding these frags and taking control of that A site. They even hear problem on the rotation, and Skrunk, he might just seal this round in all by himself. Does a lot of damage. Stefan will finish off the kill. And ATTAX a great half recovery after a slow start, a 9-6 half from them.
Can we see the score sheet very quickly? Thank you. So, Cressy in his 7 kills had two fantastic rounds where he just entered multiple times in, and Lootbet's also very interesting. Actually, they're even more one-sided towards ATTAX. So our partners think that ATTAX should be very heavily favored. I'm actually surprised about that. I think it's still probably a 150 to 250 because we saw ATTAX losing out a lot of rounds to Crazy on their CT side yesterday, and Crazy did not look like they knew what they were doing. HELLRAISERS, at least you can say they've got the lay of the land out over here on Vertigo.
Yeah. Definitely some questions to be answered from ATTAX. A good bounce back. But does that transfer all the way to that CT side? We saw Slacks have some great performances on the USP yesterday. Not going to be quite given those same chances to start things off. Ooh, the boost spotted out. Lots of warning shots exchanged between the two teams. And it does seem like middle pressure and an eventual wrap towards one of these sites is certainly on the cards. JR running distraction over at A.
JR could have actually forced these rotations over. You can see 4 players now quickly running away from that B bomb site. Unfortunately, these rotations that have been sheeted over are successful rotations, seemingly. I say that, but it's also Vertigo, so the minimap's literally impossible to read. So it could be anywhere.
They could be going down the ladder, back towards B.
They could be going to Dust 2 for all I know, man. JR, though, he does not want to go to Dust 2. The third map is one that he wants to avoid. He wants to come through, come out big, take down Skrunk over here. Skrunk has scouted them, but Cressy's found the first, and now the grenade lined up perfectly, comes through, but not very much damage. Bomb will be planted. GR to come out on top in that duel as well. Secondary grenade not finding kills, even if damage is done. And now Murbit taking a very uncomfortable duel as he's missing all of his USB shots. He's forced to reload, and in that process, Slacks will fall, but he's good for 1.
3 versus 3 now. Mirbit, can he redeem himself? Kalinka able to get the kill. Stefan instead is the one to step up with the USP. Flarich trying his best to get them off of this bomb, prevent the defuse, and he's dancing around the smoke perfectly. Stefan, oh, it's a labored endeavor. Stefan eventually lands the body shots necessary. He has the kit, and ATTAX, they'll get to double digits, win the pistol.
Flarich almost saved them yet again, but still, bomb is planted from Hellraisers. I'm curious to see whether or not we see a full buy coming up from them. Because so far, in Malta vibes in general, we've not really seen that many, second round force buys compared to in the past. And well, I say that, and we get the ultimate second round force buy. It's Galil's all the way.
I think the first day I casted with Malta vibes with you, it was every round, or every second round, it was force buys, and it sort of fell out of favor. But Hellraiser's bringing back the OG, the force buy into this. Skrunk, though, forward and into their face. He catches them, not even looking for the flank. The communication breaks down. They don't even know that Skrunk's there. It's easy frags for him. And this round has fallen out of Hellraiser's favor. They wanted to get aggressive. They wanted to go quickly. And ATTAX, they meet them head on.
Yeah, this is a pause after this round if I've ever seen one. A 2 versus 5 that needs to be pulled out by the sheer might of willpower. And as it turns out, willpower is not really going to mean much with an M4 in front of you. JR trying to fight back, finds 1 kill. At this point, anything he can find is damage. It's good, but unfortunately, damage is also very good from the CT side as they do so beautifully. Skrunk, what a round from him. I need Saga, their coach, to really just pause right now, though.
Yeah, he should not be able to get away with that. The only person who turns around is Jalem. Flarich, yeah, sure, he's trying to peek the angle up front, but they just need to address that flank, and, well, they weren't able to adapt in time. There's that timeout.
I actually think that Jalem might have been gray screen, though, when you look at that smoke. Do we have time to watch that replay again, production? I'm not sure if we do. Oh, thank you. Thank you. Right, so look at Jalem over here. After Shrunk gets that first kill and goes in behind, I think they're inside that smoke, but like their head's right in it, so they're gray screen, which is one of the other reasons why they can't actually turn around that quickly. So, some misfortune as well as miscommunication, but obviously you still don't want to let that happen.
Yeah, while we pick apart a play like that, it's still a great sign for ATTAX. If they're able to capitalize on small mistakes like that from Hellraisers, they will have a great time on the CT side. Well, Hellraisers after the force buy last round, now just onto upgraded pistols. Mirbit, though, has to still be careful because Flarich, he's been hitting shots on Vertigo. He's really been performing for Hellraisers. Opens up the round wonderfully, and although they can't recover that rifle all too safely, leaves the B-bomb site slightly more exposed.
His deagle is insane. Even on Inferno, we saw him coming out, but Stefan, the good old anchor, is about to find out that the good old deagle can quickly take him down. Cressy and Slacks now on the side, trying to step up. Molotov goes out. Slacks is next in line to fall to the deagle train. Cressy's the only one who's able to chain together a few kills, but even that could be going the other way. Fark picks up the bomb, and he is backing off, but it's into the waiting arms of Skrunk, who will be happy to accept Flash's gesture of love as he comes out with his knife out.
That's an expensive round, though, right? 2 players staying alive in Cressy and Skrunk. They don't even get their hands on one of those rifles on Skrunk either, so it keeps the economy of ATTAX modest, something that Hellraisers felt all the way through their CT side half. Whether ATTAX can stabilize, that remains to be seen. Now the investment into guns for Hellraisers. They don't get the AWP out on JR, but the rifles can do a lot of damage. These fast entries we saw from ATTAX time and time again. Skrunk once again, close ramp.
Nade is deep. Very good damage on a Jalem early on. Skrunk's revealed his position along with that smoke. He's pushing through. Great flashbang, but JR's traded away. JR could even look to peek out immediately afterwards. He flashes himself, but he doesn't quite move through it. Oh. Good nade. Seven really likes to play that position too.
As it seems like Hellraisers have that information. JR backs himself off before the play-in through ramp, such that they can retake from bridge later on to the round if they want to. And like you said, the nade on towards the double stack, reading where Stefan likes to play. ATTAX have split themselves up, a couple of players towards each of the site. Cressy a bit of pressure in through middle. That may be an indicator of that split coming on through. Mirbit, he's trying to plug a hole up, make sure that that's not a possibility. And although that presence is felt, they still have control of a ramp. Slacks hits the first shot, and that's an early indicator that they can work off of.
And Slacks is so disciplined when he backs off without re-peeking there. He knows they're in the advantage with 25 seconds left. Anything they can find on the T side would be huge. Unfortunately for them, they keep on finding Slacks again and again and again, which is not a pleasant sight to behold when you're staring down the op from the other side.
12 seconds to get that bomb planted. Flowers with a crucial kill as well as Slacks peeked around the smoke. Flowers checks behind as well, brings it to the 2-on-2. They're both tagged low, but so is Cressy. This is a dangerous endeavor to pursue. Mirbit finds the kill. Cressy as well will chime in. Had one of those gone Hellraiser's way, it becomes too close for comfort, but ATTAX keep 2 up. They get the AWP back into their hands, and the gun round doesn't go Hellraiser's way.
And unfortunately, now we get into the territory where Hellraisers never really was able to get to, where the CT side doesn't really care as much about economy, because any way they can scramble together around, they'll do it. Sure, Hellraiser still has a buy, and they can still theoretically reset the CTs, but even if you do, you know, what are you getting? A 39 scoreline? ATTAX is in a very good position to be able to take this one home.
They have won 12 of the last 14 rounds on the attack side. That just shows the momentum and the confidence that they have in this map. Of course, why they pick it. Hellraisers, after that initial 5-1 that they had, it has gone astray from there. ATTAX, like you said, happy to scramble together these rounds. They're inching towards that finish line, forcing that map 3. Nothing out of the ordinary from ATTAX either. Nothing too aggressive, not going for that same play towards ramp time and time again, expecting and respecting the adaptation from Hellraisers, playing the round out much more default oriented, much slower.
Cressy finding the first, Crunk follows up, and now suddenly speed is all it's about from the T side. They're trying to move in, they're trying to find something. Stefan as well, who pushes forward, flashbang out in the air. And a problem, he and Fleric are left to fight this out 2 versus 5. Flashbang is coming through, Problem's trying to run through that smoke. He finds the kill, but Slacks with the trade is going to make this an impossible round, but not one without highlights of Fleric. It seems like Fleric will always be able to find a couple of kills here, and they're 18 and 12 right now. His scoreline is certainly impressive considering how far down they are, and unfortunately for him, how far down they are has just plunged slightly deeper. 6-14. Not a single round on the T side so far from Hellraisers.
Yeah, they have they've fallen off. ATTAX a fantastic recovery thus far, really showing us why it's that strongest map in the pool for them, and they look to continue it all the way through. Hellraisers, they have made a few difficult decisions. SMGs are out, the Galils as well. Faster play towards A this time round. Slacks gets the first, but overwhelmed by the SMGs. Cressy there to pick up the pieces, so the first kill, the second as well, as they attempted to get some space on the bomb site. They meet that rifle on the rotation. Problem with the recovered AWP, though, could cause some issues. The flashes are perfect, though. These two players blind as bats, and Problem solitary or the smoke right in front of him, and not much of a chance. Even the flank spotted out, but Stefan gets caught out on the timing. Problem looking to reposition. He's opened up this round. There's an opportunity now. He hears the rotation. This could be an ace clutch from him, but he has to find this first frag. It's so crucial. Cressy, okay, I think he reconsiders it. He thought you could beat him towards the bomb site, but he wants to play with his teammate instead.
Probably the better shot in all fairness. You don't want to give him the ace clutch. You can I hear someone yelling into Cressy. He's there. Stop, 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 stop. Wait for Merbit. Wait for Merbit. Let them get the bomb plant. It's okay. You know, you've been in that position many a time. Problem, however, he is going to very quickly find that he needs to find a kill first, and that's why he's trying to move in further ahead. He's made some noise though, and in the process of doing so has allowed a little bit more space for Merbit, because Merbit can feel safe just running out behind him over towards the stairs. Problem's not expecting this, but now he's scoped in, but he's missed that first shot. Crucial for him to get it. And now Cressy, well, Cressy's wondering whether or not he can actually get away with forcing his way through that smoke. Cressy does find the tiny little angle and it can push through from, and Problem will fall. Very, very possible ace clutch there though.
Yeah, oh so feasible. That first shot in the 1 versus 2, had he hit it on the flank, he can divert all his attention to one direction. Would have made all the difference. And no saving grace this time. ATTAX now just need 1 out of the next 9 rounds. And HELLRAISERS, they've had a few beacons, but none of them have been able to chain together round wins for them. They still have yet to find a singular point or a singular round on this T side, and ATTAX are just carrying on, dishing and dealing. JR will try his best to spam Scrunk through, as he's taken that position a number of times already, but they're all just swings and misses.
Scrunk. Oh. He will unfortunately also be taken down. Kalinka, in the meanwhile, is flashed off his position. This is the last chance saloon. HELLRAISERS have got to take away this 4 versus 5 one way or another. They've had no luck so far on their T side. Can this be where they find their 4-leaf clover? Problem. Came dangerously close to ace clutching it out before, but that's really the only impact he's had in this game. Kalinka comes in with 1 problem to trade, but Ferric is the one who's always ready for more. Unfortunately, more is spelt with an STFN, and it's not something they can handle. Fantastic game coming out from Malta ATTAX, looking purely dominant on Vertigo.
I got worried to start off the game, right? You come into it with ATTAX being their best map in the pool, having such a flat performance to open things out. Of course, it's the gun, the pistol, the first gun round. Things can go wrong from there, but as soon as they get a bit more momentum under them, they win a few crucial clutches, some great entries on their T side. They just keep the ball rolling all the way through. HELLRAISERS didn't get a single round when we went into that secondary half. And, I mean, they just seemed like they were missing out on a few crucial bits of information and communication between them.
Yes, communication, I think, is the biggest deal, because we saw it slightly breaking down within Inferno as well. But over here, you see the exact same thing happening in a much more deadly position where they could have come out on top. That was around where they had the opportunity to even reset the CT side economy. So a very, very awkward round leads to a very, very difficult game for them. All in all, it's a 16-6. It's pure dominance, yes, but we were expecting HELLRAISERS to get more done in their terrorist side and actually show up with some sort of competition. Unfortunately, that was not the case. Hopefully, though, they will be able to do so in Dust 2. And Yumi, any great anecdotes, any great analogies about from simulation games before we head out?
Maybe no simulations this time around, but if the communication continues to sort of falter on that HELLRAISER side, you could see this being an ATTAX series where they come back and take Dust 2. But it's a bit more of a toss-up. It's a harder map to call because some great shots being hit from both teams. That leads Dust 2 to be quite an exciting one.
Well, I'm not going to make any guesses right now. We'll be back in just a bit with Dust 2. We're back. It's Malta Vibes brought to you by Gaming Malta, a home of gaming excellence. And this third map is going to be a doozy. For just tuning in, this is the semifinals. This is the deciding map to see who can make it to the finals of the second week of Malta Vibes. And yes, summer awaits, but so does a week in Malta if you're able to win this, as well as $25,000. HELLRAISERS and ATTAX would both really like a chance at that, but Duster is what stands in between them, and Yumi and I are here to take that one away.
Yeah, I mean, start the series, Hellraisers win their map pick, ATTAX win their own, but one more convincing than the other. ATTAX really dominating towards the latter stages of Vertigo, whereas Hellraisers, it was a bit more back and forth on their own respective map pick. There's some improvements that have been made by ATTAX, there have been some improvements made by Hellraisers, at least as far as their individuals have really come to play on the server, and I think that's why when we were leading into the break, I'm excited to see what Dust 2 brings, when we're thrown a bit more into the chaos. I know you think that you've got a bit more sort of tactical sides to it, but when it comes down to hitting those shots, both sides are really presenting.
Which actually reminds me, I need to link you with the new Elmo Putty video on how big plays Dust 2 and has over an 80% win rate on it. It's quite enlightening. But I'm going to be very enlightened to see how much of the older German team has been able to inspire the younger one. And that's actually an actual segue I wanted to make. So thank you for setting up for that one. Because alternate attacks, let's keep in mind that maps are very much sometimes a national thing. So you'll see, or at least regional things. So you'll see Train, for example, in the CIS. Dust 2 is a big map over here in the Middle East. In Asia, we see Inferno being played a lot. Nuke's become a lot more popular in the past 2 years in Asia as well. So there are certain maps where you are forced to start learning it because your domestic partners are just so incredibly good on it. Now, there is the one small caveat that alternate attacks is so far away from big on the rankings that maybe they never played them. But even so, I feel like ATTAX should at least probably be putting some work into this, though you can never really be sure about that in a team.
Yeah, it can be difficult to always mirror another team, or it may not be as applicable to you, right? You may not have the same crucial players or the same players that are willing to make those sort of strategic changes around the map. Of course, if you kind of look at ATTAX as a lineup, they've had a system in place for quite a long time. It's gone through a few changes, but given how long they've been together, it can be hard to simply just say, okay, we're going to contextualize everything. We're going to look at this team and we're going to copy everything sort of blow for blow, because it's not always a one-for-one comparison.
Especially when you don't have Surse and Taps and then Centaurs, I guess. It's probably a pretty major factor when you actually come down to it. With that being said, though, I'm also very worried for HELLRAISERS, though, which is something I've said quite a few times, apparently, Yumi. And even though I did predict that HELLRAISERS should be able to take Dust 2 away, that's where I was hoping that maybe GR would be doing more. So far in this series, we haven't seen him come alive to the extent where he's needed. On Vertigo, particularly, he was notably absent, going 10 and 19, 0.6 HLTV rating. Inferno was not really particularly respectable either. It was actually one of the major reasons why they were having issues winning rounds on the T side over. So if JR is not coming alive on Dust 2, which is as op heavy as it is, and we see the fantastic double op setup, which we're probably going to see coming out from Stefan and Slacks, then yeah, I think I get worried suddenly.
Yeah, and that's one of the biggest changes, I suppose, over day to day, is the fact that we're getting to see that double up setup a bit more from alternate attacks. Is teams often explore it, they'll experiment, but we didn't get to see it much in official play from ATTAX yesterday. But the welcome surprise coming into Inferno was that change, and so ATTAX have clearly done a bit of soul searching, a bit of changes to the way that they like to set things up, and so you end up in the server. It depends on whether ATTAX can get their hands on that. Obviously, it depends whether they start on that CT side, how long we'll have to wait to see it, and whether we get to see JR, like you said, sort of wake up and have a higher impact role for HELLRAISERS to get them a good lead or maybe the win here.
Yumi, have you ever been soul searching?
I have, and that's why I'm no longer a player of Counter-Strike, and not a competitive one at the very least.
It's not called soul searching. That's not being able to get past level 9.
Sorry, that's just me being realistic. My bad.
Oh god, I found my soul a very long time ago. In that case, I'm happy now. You know what? I should write a self-help book.
It's like, stop lying to yourself. Just find something else.
Just become a caster. Come on.
Whoa.
You might not make it there either, but
Whoa.
hey, at least you can try.
At the very least, I'm not having to use my arms. Speaking is a little bit easier. And while we will wait to see the players that have capable arms get their action underway, ATTAX, they won the knife round, so maybe we do get to see the double ult pretty early.
You say that, but at the same time, the D side double up. I'm just saying. There's a lot of picks to be found on Dust 2. Everyone's always like, oh, individual based, pick based map. Well, what finds picks better than an op?
Yeah, I suppose I can't argue with that. I don't think it's gonna quite work to the pace that HELLRAISERS have been kind of showing us. They like these sort of faster plays, although we see them slow down quite a bit, especially when we sort of look at their T slide on Vertigo. They've slowed things down pretty significantly. The pace I imagine that they're going to bring into Dust 2 is going to be considerably different.
The problem is, although HELLRAISERS do have Dust 2 as a significantly more played map and a significantly better win rate map than they did Vertigo, HELLRAISERS doesn't really have too many maps that they're realistically very strong on. Inferno and Nuke are the only two maps where they have over a 50% win rate, and sure, Nuke's is 71, but it's literally alternate axis permaban, so this is generally a very bad veto matchup.
Yep.
Dust 2 is their third best, but it's a 45% win rate. It's and this is not a 45% win rate across a couple of games. This is across 22 maps.
Yeah, and I think when we first got our chance to cast HELLRAISERS back when we were in the group stage, kind of pointed out the fact that they have been going through a rough patch. They were sort of on a bit of a decline as far as performances and what was kind of expected from their players. Maybe that factors more into that sample size, but I'd still agree with you that it is a worrying statistic that your third best map in the pool still isn't above 50%. So
yeah. Well, another worrying statistic for you is alternate axis win rate on the map. Do you want to guess? I'm challenging you.
I mean, you say guess. I have a page open, so
never mind.
Yeah.
See, the only reason why I was saying guess was because I was trying to get it open and die.
I could be dishonest. I'm just like, yeah, I'm gonna guess 58% of the last 3 months.
Like, you were off by 0.3.
Okay.
What a scrub you are.
You know what, man? Whatever.
But no, 58.3% win rate. The problem, though, is they're very inconsistent. So they 16-5 Saw the other day, and they also got wrecked by Havu a few months ago. But that was quite a while ago. And recently, they've actually been on a tear. They're on a 3-game winning streak. Admittedly, those 3 games, they have one of them going to double overtime, the other one going to triple overtime. So all I'm saying is, if you've got anyone waiting at home, you probably should tell them you'll be a while. But LootBet, they've got us covered. Our partner is giving us the odds, and they're favoring alternate taxes sign, but not quite as heavily as the first 2 maps, actually.
Yeah, LootBet have been in favor of them all the way through. Skrunk, though, taking names, finding damage on JR. Flarich tagged down as well. Not quite the start they're looking for. Skrunk, I mean, he's happy to take those fights. The CT pistol so much better at distance, so much more accurate. And he's drawing so much attention.
Who dares say the P2K is not good on long range? Who dares? They have clearly not seen Skrunk with it yet. Unfortunately, without any players ready to intercept at short, this could be problematic as the T's have rushed up short. Slacks needs to intercept. Cressy is going to be on a long rotate over. Slacks has been flashed off. He's missing the first few shots. We know he's good for the USP, but he's not good enough right now. He's already dinked down, and Jalem and Fleric are able to come in with 1 apiece. Cressy, sure, is good for a return, but no more than that. Skrunk started off nicely and even follows up, but Fleric... Oh, Fleric. His pistol rounds have been marvelous, and they will continue to be so.
Yeah, some opportunities for Slacks to really step up in the round, but that first shot from Skrunk, oh, we just missed the tail.
Right.
But either way, He started off the round but could not finish. HELLRAISERS, a good recovery considering they were a man down, and one man had a significantly low start to the round as well.
Oh, Slacks is actually tagged up pretty heavily by JR early. Murbit hoping to catch a few players off guard with his CZ. I think it was a CZ, or at least. I see a knife right now, but it's a CZ. All right, that's good stuff.
I think it was ATTAX that we got to saw last time they were on Dusty. They got aggressive on their CT side early. This time they're playing so far back, and while Cressy tries his hand at a couple of frags, he's not going to get anything. Slack's still getting tagged and tagged.
I don't think we've considered ATTAX on Dust 2, actually. Slacks, however. Well, Jalem's very low, but Slacks should be able to get a quick kill with the scout, and indeed he does. Jalem responds. Nades flying in from the CT side. Jalem's still not dead yet, even though he's very close to it, and those nades, if only they'd been angled a little bit closer towards Scar. But Jalem will continue to hide away, wait for a push to come in through that smoke. The CZ at long range gets the quick headshot, and JR is suddenly much more scared than he was before. Tries to line them up, is unsuccessful, and Kalinka left in a 1v1 to try and take down Stefan, who has the deagle, but will opt for the Galil. Switches out, beautiful shots to take it through. Unfortunately, the bomb not being planted for Kalinka comes back to bite them. That late flank is not very effective.
Yep, great to close it out on the attack side. Stefan isolated duels, a crucial 1v1 to bounce right back into this game. And that first kill, the recovered weapon, that was all he needed. You can see a bit of indecision to get the first bullet headshot or not, but the adjustment there in the end. So ATTAX with the force buy, they surprise HELLRAISERS on the retake there. And now just the SMGs to reinvest into this. 4 SMGs brought forward. That can only really mean one thing.
Well, and here we go. Grenade is there, and the MAC-10s are ready to play. Skrunk has got an MP9. It's not quite as good in this situation as you want it to be. Stefan's next in line for the quick SMG death. So the problem is, will they find this flanker? Problem's the only one who's got the Tech 9. Murbit with a great double kill using the grenade. Unfortunately, we weren't able to catch that on the screen, but I'm sure it was explosive. Hey.
Anyway, a retake underway. ATTAX grouping themselves up. They identify and find the flanking problem. Could have been a huge issue for ATTAX, but now they'll set up for the retake. The flash is on through Jalem. He dodges out, and he gets both on the spray. Mirbit, all that's left, and he cannot get progress. Kalinka shuts him down. And HELLRAISERS hold on to the site. What a great showing from them, getting that bomb site so quickly, forcing the retake, and just those dodge flashes just made all the difference.
Incredible awareness as well. Like you said, those dodge flashes are huge. You can probably see it in the replay over here. Jalem turns around. I don't know if he heard it. Maybe they were able to get a call, something like that, but he is going to get them the second round. And Ultra ATTAX, they will now force spy, and the CTs are about to find out that force spying is not quite that easy. The double nades won't do too much damage to Problem. He is brought down to 50, but he's okay with that. And like I said before, CT side force spy over here, unless they win this is what they're looking at, a 1-5 scoreline. You have a $1,900 loss bonus over here. Yeah, and even afterwards, you know, $4,400 is not really what you want on the CT side when you're hyping up the double up.
And while we're kind of mentioning the aggression from ATTAX, it's time to get Skrunk in through B so they can clear things out, stack things over towards that A bomb site. They can meet HELLRAISERS pretty much head on. Skrunk's not going to push that flank as of yet, just containing them in, but HELLRAISERS are pushing forward. Now the smoke cross. Now they get themselves on towards this site, but they're pushing back through. The flash there, and well, Problem flared to get the kills necessary, but they're still trading fairly even. Mirbit as well with the SMG. He drops the bomb. That's exposed. Now the smokes begin to fade, and as Skrunk moves in on the flank, he could be the difference maker. Mirbit's just trying to buy time.
They're not expecting Skrunk, but he's too afraid. Now, Skrunk's been able to find a free kill. JR is down, and with 38 seconds on the clock, Kalinka's in an impossible situation. He's wondering whether it's worth even just backing off and coming in from short. Murbit, he isn't exposed either way, though. That's the problem. Now, first duel comes in. He chose poorly. And Merbit, great stuff, man. 3 kills from him. Again, he is keeping alternate attacks in these rounds where they really have no right to be in. You know, Hellraisers are being very sloppy. They're not checking to see if there's a stack. They're not seeing if they can bait out any information. You know, the cross smokes even are something I would actually argue are not always a very good idea to just throw every single round. Because the pistols can just close distance like, okay. Is this what Counter-Strike has become now? Because I can live with that.
Go on, JR. Scout and play, and well, Hellraisers have a great opening opportunity. They buy back into it. Of course they would. ATTAX winning a round that they shouldn't. And a weakened B bomb site on that prospect. Stefan, smoke at least available. You can redeploy that over, but Hellraisers won't honor it. They'll push on through. They're trying to overwhelm Stefan as fast as possible, dancing back and forth. The flash support is phenomenal. They're all blinded up. Stefan can continue to play these angles, and it's great. The support is there. ATTAX reinforced with utility, and although JR found that initial peak, that's all they've gotten in the round. Slacks may seal it in. A couple missed shots. JR finds another, but still a significant man advantage for ATTAX. The bomb dropped on B.
Well, that's an anchor.
Yeah.
Just a little bit. Some people would say it's quite good too, Stefan. The flash support was fantastic, but he knew exactly how to play around it. It does not blind him at all. His own flashbang as well was enough to quickly isolate out a few 1v1s because the players were not really willing to rush him down in fear of him using the box to come around and find that first kill on the problem. But in the process of waiting and trying to circle him around properly, nice kill from JR, but we're about to see Stefan probably, yeah. So in the process of waiting over here, the secondary flashes start to come in, and Kalinka's first, problems, Jalem's next, and then, you know, problem just ends up going down.
Yeah, it's just chain flashes galore on those rotations. Like you said, just dancing around it beautifully, not falling too quickly on that attack side, and well, now Hellraisers have to save. I'll put in that position. And just while we have a second, we did get to cast ATTAX on Dust 2, but that was back in week 1, so I'm calling back from against Saw.
Oh right, now I remember. Yes.
Yes.
That was when their double op was doing really well, but then Stradodo came out on their CT side of Saw. Yes, of course they lost that map. Slacks had his monster 25 kills in the first half. Cressy, however, is a bit of a monster himself. Slacks chiming in with one of his own, and Merbit is obviously going to be there for some action. Yeah, of course he is. It's Merbit. That's what he does. Finally, we get 2 rounds in a row.
Yeah.
It didn't seem like it would have happened anytime soon.
Well, a convincing one at that as well. So keeping all 5 up on that CT side, just taking the fight to the pistols, and well, Hellraisers, they can reinvest into this. The AKs are out. They don't have Molotovs though, so they can't deal with some troublesome angles like that sort of car cubby or the close angles over towards B. So they'll have to be pretty quick about how they approach these angles, make sure that they clear them out as well, because attacks can be tricksy. Merbit alone towards short. He has a smoke as well that prevents sightlines in towards lower. Kalinka trying to find an entry to start things off, but the crossfire being held. It's broken down though. Cressy goes for the peak. Stefan trying to get something back, and it's there, but he takes a lot of damage. And Merbit, the fall away shot. Excuse me? He's falling. He's still finding frags, and that shouldn't be happening, but Hellraisers, they're now in a difficult position. Just Flarich and JR to try and pick up any pieces.
Damn right, they're in a difficult position, and it's not about this round. It's about the fact that Merbit has a fire burning behind him. He knows that if he stands still, he's gonna go get burnt, but he is just blazing across the skies. Right, insanity from him. Every single round, he's had a multi-kill except for the pistol, and even there, I'm not sure about that. Slacks misses a shot, but he'll have a second chance too. They have flashes. Well, it won't matter. Merbit's not going to be flashed out regardless. He finds one more. It's 3 kills for him in this round, and JR is left alone versus the same amount. Can he get the 4K? It isn't likely with the time being where it is. He's able to spot out another CT player, but that CT player is more than happy to back off, and not give him a chance. A flashbang comes in. Skrunk is still not peeking. And all they've done is given Slacks enough time to reposition and get over towards Scar, where he can find that kill. And what is going on? Merbit is on 12 kills and 4 deaths in 6 rounds. Yeah. Insanity, pure insanity.
After that start from Hellraisers as well, they break down the crossfire. I didn't think they had a chance back into it.
Oh,
I mean,
man.
Just a couple of... I mean, that's just...
Every time I see it.
That's gross.
Gorgeous shot from them. And speaking of gorgeous, you can get yourself some gorgeous rewards. I don't know why I spoke it in that accent, but you can get yourself some gorgeous rewards from Hellcase, who are our partners, who are the biggest and most known case opening website with almost 100 cases. Again, accent slip. Updated case battle, upgrader, dozens of giveaways per month, and more absolutely unique features. Can we get a deagle kill in here between that plug? No, we can't. Cressy gets not one of his own. You won't get bored with Hellcase. Use promo codes to save more and grab what you can. I went through like 4 different accents and a kill in the middle.
Well, a confusing segue in a pretty straightforward round, though. The pistols are trying their best, but the weapons that ATTAX have, the setup that they have, there shouldn't be too many surprises. There's no real utility, just a singular flash on Flarich that could maybe catch them out. We'll have to see how effective they go. It is. Well, the run boost over, the tag by Slacks, the 1-2 punch. Mirbit's happy to sweep up those frags. 3 kills for him. Could be the 4th as well. He's been on fire this Dust 2 thus far, and he continues it in good form. 16 kills, 8 rounds of play.
I'm starting to reassess my earlier analysis that Mirbit is not the one you're expecting to frag out. I am expecting him to frag out from now on. Yeah. I think I'm done counting him out. Sure, these are equal frags, but just how clean that M4 spray is for 3 of those players, and then follows it up with the USP as well. You can see he's got the win truly in his sails.
And I know I'm calling back still to sort of that week 1 play where we saw attacks on Dust 2, but it was Slacks from that position before. Now it's Mirbit, yep. So...
Either way, they've got short lockdown.
Yeah. The A-bomb site is a tough one to crack, and Hellraisers, they're going to try another gander of it. Again, mid-control gain, the little presence towards long to keep attacks honest. Now they'll set their sights on getting a bit more information. The AWP of JR congregates with them on short, the smokes as well, to allow them at least the opportunity to cross, potentially drop in towards the spawn as well. Problem will have a gander, go in through CT. Stefan caught off guard, but not the frag. So some attention draw. He's called for reinforcements. Stefan still gets away with 1, so that's more than attacks were really hoping to get out of that, considering Problem had him pretty much dead to rights, but Skrunk's under a lot of pressure, and that's the anchor gone. Attacks have lost that B-bomb site. Do they even attempt the retake?
They have the money, but money is a very fickle experience if you're a CT side player. Oh, okay, that's a cool little sticker. The Problem was able to scout out. Now, Problem, his position isn't known, but they might be expecting someone to be here. Slacks is indeed checking it, and Slacks will take him down, turns it into a 3 versus 2, and now on to the retake they can go. They've got 2 smokes and a flashbang. Not quite the utility you want, but with Flarich taking that first player down and having a Molotov, this retake becomes close to impossible. Jalem will truly make it impossible, but Slacks still wants to go at it. If he can even force these players to go down with the bomb, that would be big, but it seems like they're the ones who are doing the hunting. Slacks gets 1 and will be backing off and dying in the process. I don't think that's entirely worth it, but I mean, at the same time, T's do have 2 players underneath 4K, so maybe a little bit.
Yeah, it still weakens the buy enough, I think, on the Hellraiser side. I think there was an opportunity for him to survive if he just rounded the corner, the additional walls to penetrate for the bomb, but either way, they were sitting pretty in their money, although they're now breaking into some low money on players like Stefan. They've got the double up once again. Slacks AWP in hand. Mirbit just trying to cross in towards Pit, and they're not even suspecting it. Head down, trying to dodge those flashes. Mirbit able to get 1, and the nades will do significant damage on Jalem as well. Trapped in the corner of Blue Bins. The Molotov, he has to smoke it out. There's still a battle and a brawl over it long, but running out of ammo is Cressy. So a 1-for-1 exchange to start things off. Mirbit still finding more and more kills, though.
Stefan needs to go back with his AWP and take down Problem, because yet again Skrunk has fallen. Stefan off at the ready, doesn't quite land that shot, and Problem unfortunately doesn't have too many bullets, but it'll still be fine. Slacks can't hit the shot on the crossing player, and it's all up to Merbit. It's 2 versus 2, but JR's the one with the bomb. And do they realize that? Because Slacks is coming in from behind. If Slacks can actually find JR and take him down before he gets to the tunnels, this becomes a very different round for the CT side. Merbit on 3 kills already. He's really hoping his teammates can step up, but the flick is not there. Merbit has to now do the powerlifting. His angle's not bad. He can cut off the bomb. He knows where it is as well. The flashbang will not catch him out. He's found one. The AWP on the other side of the doors is risky to contend with, but JR, he himself knows that with 20 seconds left on the clock, this is the ultimate Mexican showdown. He's baited out that first shot. JR is going for the plant. He is not faking it. Merbit peeks out. He had a Molotov too, but he didn't want to use it just yet. He was afraid of being caught out. Does he have bullets? It seems like he does. It shouldn't be an easy round for JR because the shadow works against him, and Merbit can get that round out. CT side, sure, their economy is somewhat disturbed by the past 2 rounds, but at the same time, they've got enough saved up to keep a healthy buy going. But Skrunk really needs to stop dying on that B-bomb site.
That was the ace from Merbit. What is going on? This man is having a show. He's got 22 kills. It's been 10 rounds. And a crucial 1 versus 2 to win it back as well for ATTAX.
I didn't even realize the ace.
Yeah, I want to know what this man is on. What kind of nutrients he's providing himself. What's his meal plan? Someone look it up, please. ATTAX. This man has bailed him out in quite a few rounds thus far. None bigger than that. Now, the faster play from HELLRAISERS through middle. Stefan and Cressy chime on through. Merbit's been taken out. That's a high impact frag from JR, considering that man's form. But so much control submitted to ATTAX early on.
4 versus 3 with the double ops being in the position that they are is very tricky, but Cressy going down makes it slightly easier. Slacks will hit the first shot. The second is traded away though. And with the player already on the A-bomb site, this looks to be unlikely. Kalinka's hoping to find something, but I want to keep an eye out for Stefan. Stefan's the one who scoped in directly onto JR's position. He will take him down, and with that, Kalinka's given a chance to take the trade. Skrunk, however, has found the player. Skrunk needs to step up these past 2 rounds. He's really not been able to get the most out of that B-bomb site, but Kalinka will get the most out of Skrunk. And when I say the most, I mean the most of his organs and his inner body, because he's just been wrecked right there.
Oh, we're getting a callback. All those kills that Merbit found over at Long and the clutch on through, but HELLRAISERS, they recovered that last round, 3 versus 4. The fantastic ace from Merbit in that previous round. They're able to recover even with ATTAX starting out. Actually, I think it was a 3 versus 5. They got the opening 2 picks and it really cascaded from there. So could have gone from bad to worse. Instead, it's bad to less bad for HELLRAISERS because their money is looking a little dire. They haven't really chained those together as of yet, but ATTAX's money even worse.
If ATTAX loses this, then HELLRAISERS is right back into it. It doesn't matter if Merbit comes out with 30 kills in the first half if their money is now in the bin. They've been afforded plenty of opportunities, but this is not one of them. They have to now come through with brute force. Skrunk waiting for the push. Stefan's got one. The P250 is good for another, and Stefan follows up, even has a chance to reload and reposition. Now it's all about JR finding his kills, but Stefan's just too good, and the MP9 will demolish any sort of a house that HELLRAISERS was looking to build.
Oh my goodness. It's the contact play in, and Stefan does so much work. The high mobility, uses his teammate as bait. I thought for sure they'd crack into the side eventually, but the Molotov is oh so timely. It just means that Stefan can do what he does best. Spray them all down. Oh, now it's all role reversal. The money better for ATTAX. HELLRAISERS really in a struggle position. The hero AK on Jalem, though, they're trying to make short work of this A-bomb site, but Slacks with the AWP is hitting shot after shot. Now it's all Kalinka. He's the last of what remains of that initial push. Merbit even chimes in with the MP9 at distance. They don't even get their hands back on that AK that they bought into the round. And they don't even have a chance. They just have no space to work off of. ATTAX are
What are you
giving
doing, Merbit? Dear God, he's 25-6. There's 2 rounds left in the half. This is the hottest of all hot hands.
Yeah. Can I just say
is like
the series?
Steph Curry hitting 50 in a quarter.
Yeah, can I just say this has been a between both teams. The aim displays we're seeing today from both of them is it's kind of incredible. We've seen some fantastic shots throughout, but the performance that Merbit is now giving is a step above. He's hitting shots after shots. It's become run of the mill. We don't even really want to talk about it anymore.
Oof. This is crazy, but it's also setting me up for fair about the good old first half contributions that sometimes come through. So, I mean, we might see Merbit hitting 30 over here, but Hellraiser is probably just hoping that the side switching over works against it. But Merbit is so aggressive with his MP9s and whatnot as well. But look at this. They finally found some space over towards short, but they run away. They're so intimidated by the fact that every single time they've gone there, it's either Merbit or Slacks or someone who's just wrecking them. And over here, Stefan was getting aggressive with the AWP, but he himself also just backs off. And now this mid to B pinch was going to be interesting. Stefan finds one, but he's traded away. Merbit's not expected. He's good for 2, and he is unstoppable. He's literally unstoppable.
Oh, Kalinka will try his best to stop this man, but Merbit goes through the smoke, the flash as well. 3 kills for him, and it's just JR, not long for the world. Cressy finishes off the round. ATTAX had the read. They know Merbit plays over towards A. You can see Hellraiser's got control of short. They back off. They think B's the more susceptible, but Merbit's rotated in before they knew it. He didn't even start it long. They had that from the start.
He could feasibly have a 30 bomb and a half.
Yeah,
That's insane. He's literally averaged 2 kills per round throughout the first 14 rounds, and this has not been a whitewash. They've had to eco rounds as well. Stefan finds the first. Merbit is desperate for the 30, but Cressy will not let him get the easy one at least. A 5 versus 3. Where Hellraisers are finding themselves strapped of options and are very soon going to find themselves strapped of ways to come back into this if they don't get a few kills very quickly. Slacks nade goes in deep, perfectly placed as well, but how did that not do damage? What? I think it went too far behind, maybe?
Yeah, must have rounded the corner a little bit aggressively. Yeah. They won a 3 versus 5 before on Hellraisers. It's certainly still doable. That initial hurdles need to be crossed. Slacks on the AWP. Got Merbit on that rotation as well, just in case that smoke is where Hellraisers want to explore. 50 seconds left. They're still poking and probing, trying to find where this ult is positioned. The jump up, it's spotted out. Merbit's able to get the first. Now just on to Flowerich, and the crouch peek is good. There's at least a little bit more room to work off of. Merbit doesn't have an angle into the site, but he jumps into his crosshair. JR now on the 1 versus 3. Merbit got the 30 bomb and got 31 instead.
Holy shit. What a performance from Merbit, man. I mean, look at these 3 kills he gets over here, and then he gets another 3k after that. There have been more rounds where Merbit has had 3Ks than less.
You can see production's having a hard time keeping up because this man's a one-man highlight reel at the moment. Just we're having to call back to rounds played before just because we're not expecting it to happen time and time and time again.
I mean, you need to just have a separate Merbit cam at this point if you want to get all the replays out. It's alternate attacks rushing out towards long. They may have made the correct decision. Cressy in the back line trying to take some deals with the P250. It's a trade as Kalinka will take him down, but not before Jalen will fall. Cressy was the one with some of the utility. A smoke comes out, some flashes as well, but Problem can't hit any shots despite the lack of the second smoke. His retake is going to be incredibly difficult without the kit as well.
Close towards the smoke. I don't know if Slack spotted just the feet. He's honoring the fact that Problem could be there at the very least, but backing himself away, waiting for his teammates to rotate in. Long control, that battle will be crucial. Stefan winning that one out, and he's actually gone for more. He's found and dealt with all of that short pressure instead. Skrunk, that's the duel I was talking about. I thought that would be far more impactful, while Skrunk blindsides Problem at the end. I would say that as a half, Mirbit does all the work, but he doesn't have to contribute anything in that round. It's his teammates that pick up the slack. I don't think he has to do much more. The rest of the team could just have a field day, because it feels like HELLRAISERS are kind of checking out.
I mean, I would.
I mean, no kit, no utility whatsoever on a pistol round. Sure, it's you can honor the duels all you want, but I mean, when a man does this to you, it can be easy to shut things down, trying to repress the memory.
I feel bad for HELLRAISERS fans.
Yeah, this series has delivered. Attacks have really bounced back in these past couple of maps, but HELLRAISERS were so good to start off Vertigo, to close out Inferno. I didn't think anybody could one-up any of what we've seen today, but Mirbit finds a way. I
am in awe. Oh my god. Anyhow, he's not done yet. There's still another half to go. And maybe HELLRAISERS, maybe they can find some deagle shots. Maybe they can find some confidence. Maybe they can start, chasing after the shins of alternate attacks. But maybe not as well. Maybe it goes both ways.
And the big thing is, right, Mirbit had such a great first half. You can't often see when players have such a good performance to start things off, they sort of fall off. So maybe he'll be missing as HELLRAISERS try and mount that comeback.
Barrett comes in with a big one, and Jalum's the one there with the follow-up. We talked about these deagles, and they're delivering over here. Mirbit's death, and Problem says, you're not the only one who can come through with some forced by victories. The CT side of HELLRAISERS is more than competent with those deagles, and you see Flerich starting things off nicely there and then. Great flank as well from short.
Yeah, great timing. I mean, just headshots galore, it seemed, from the HELLRAISERS deagles. Very, very clean. Only one body spam shot really came through. So, some signs of life. This is certainly not over. HELLRAISERS will be pretty disappointed as to how that first half went, but they are looking to recover. Attacks, quick play in through middle. Skrunk is dealt with very early on. Kalinka and Jalum with some aggression off of short as well, but they have to be careful of deagles themselves. Cressy able to answer with one, but still hanging around. Slacks gets a kill with the Glock. Kalinka, okay, a 1-for-1 trade again. Attacks are making this very, very competitive in spite of the pistols once again.
And don't forget, Raid Boss Mirbit is still alive. He's not really had anything in the second half so far, so maybe he is experiencing the curse of the first half heat. But I would not be quick to cross him off just yet. Cressy, position is good, and he's got the second one as well. Unfortunately, JR does take him down, but JR is now having to contend with the last deagle, which he pre-fires somehow. Seemed to know where Mirbit was. Jiggles out and takes him down. 6th round is there from HELLRAISERS.
Yeah, that is too close for comfort. Great kill there from Cressy, but JR, this is a confident swing considering the stats, and like you said, Mirbit has thus far found nothing in the second half. Is that a recurring theme? Does that continue to be the case? That still remains to be seen with HELLRAISERS now a couple rounds in a row. So their money's not looking the best given how close that last round was. So this will really come down to whether they can get a clean one, get that CT economy rolling.
Molotovs from Flerich, taking control of short where they can, but these players are about to run to meet Grinder. Kalinka sees one. It's excellent spacing, and the trade is there, but Jalum has stepped up on the CT side. He has been very impactful in the past few rounds, up to 12 kills, and although that's not a very impressive number when he's got 16 deaths, you have to keep in mind that the first half is no longer, we just don't talk about that. We don't talk about it.
I have to say, for the CT side thus far from HELLRAISERS, we've seen some great signs, some good timings on the procedures there. As soon as the attacks mid B smoke comes through, they have that utility, they have players in place, and well, JR takes the challenge down middle, usually ill-conceived, but still able to come up with some good results for the CT side.
Polenka, this is damage control time where you're just bringing it together as close as you can. HELLRAISERS, it's good to see them fighting tooth and nail over here, as they do prevent Skrunk from getting a quick 1 Ultra attacks could also start to flounder soon. Let's not forget that actually, hold that thought as problem. Maybe we see some kills. No, none. Let's not forget that as much as we're hyping up Murby getting 31 kills, it can also end up being a crutch for the rest of the team.
Yeah.
So now when you're going out of this comfort zone of having this simple Zywoo-esque performance on your team into having to deliver individually, let's take a look at their statistics and keep in mind that, Murbit took most of the kills, so that you really can't do that much, but no one's really got a positive KD other than Stefan and Murbit. So HELLRAISERS definitely have a chance. They've been the ones who've really been struggling throughout, so their players are definitely still hot and ready to go.
Yeah, this is where it could all turn around. HELLRAISERS have done most of the leg room, or most of the leg work to get the pistol and the rounds afterwards. Yeah, we're not on a bus or a plane. Not talking about leg room.
It is quite nice when you get a good leg room on a plane, though.
True. And while they would like to stretch this out on the HELLRAISER side, get their legs out as well. Flourish, oh, the missed shot to start things off. JR not really able to support as a result of that corner smoke. And as they spam away, JR still able to come away with the frag. Mirbit down, Stefan as well. The man advantage held, but only for a moment. Cressy and Slacks answer back. A 3 versus 2 now ensues, and there's only one player that stands between them and this A bomb site. And he's actually the last man standing. JLM trapped in the corner. Do they know he's there? Slacks is holding it, and yeah, he had the read. The first gun round really from ATTAX, or the first strong one from them, and well, they start a T side win since they've been on the second half. After the pistol, of course.
Yeah. This is where Ultra ATTAX can maybe try and use some of this momentum. Remember, as much as I say that they're not chiming in the same way on the T side, they don't need to. They just need 3 more rounds. You can slip past and find those, and Slacks can find a quick kill as well, which is obviously going to be a big help. With that, all of long has been taken control of by them. They don't know it just yet, though. Jalem, Molotov at his feet. Flashbang comes in for him to find a quick one, but the trade is immediate as well. Unfortunately, the CT still are a man down, and they're desperately looking for the equalizer. That's what Kalinka's trying to find, and that's exactly what he's trying to do.
Another flash into towards the lower tunnels. That's very much on the cards for HELLRAISERS. They want to make sure that that is not an angle that ATTAX can explore. And while he clears things out towards B, that means things are mounting towards A instead. It has to be Flourish. It has to be Problem to shut this down. The Molotov flying over the flashes as well. Flourish blinded up Mirbit with the entry. The second may soon follow. Problem behind the smoke. Cressy, in fact, steals that away. It's now just Kalinka. 1 versus 4. This is not looking likely. A very easy call to save.
Now you start to get worried, because all those rounds where you lost too many players because Cressy was able to get a few deagle shots, they come back to bite you. HELLRAISERS, they found some wind in their sails, they found some progress, some momentum, but now the second you lose that first pick to Slacks, you're just stuck in this endless loop of trading, which will perpetually favor the side that's already 5 versus 4. Unfortunately, the read wasn't there either. So the second time they retook lower tunnels as well, it just led to more isolation.
And, well, you can see the odds from our partners over at Lootbet. They've been fairly close, fairly consistent throughout this series. And now it's a very one-sided endeavor.
A little bit. A 107 to a 750. Damn.
Well, attacks are close. They had a great first half showing. HELLRAISERS able to answer back at the start of the second. But now that they've picked up a little bit, HELLRAISERS, they may begin to sweat. Used to be 6 in a row to at least prevent the overtime. We could very well end up there, both teams, when they've played this map in the past. Not shy from overtimes, at the very least. And they'll go for the boost on short. Kalinka, they're able to get that frag to start things off. Flaric as well, they can back off safely. They're challenging towards Stefan, though. This is an opportunity that could go punished, but lots of missed shots on both sides. That's an awkward duel. Kalinka finally puts an end to it.
Whatever the opposite of crisp is, that was that.
Floppy.
Kalinka's all right. Kalinka, unfortunately for him, did find the AK, so the one shot he managed to land does end up taking down Stefan. Otherwise, that could have gone the other way. And like you said, perhaps some unnecessary risks being taken. But when you're down 14-8, unnecessary risks seem a lot more viable. 2 smokes are still there from attacks, so they can use those to cross over. Cressy is hoping to overwhelm Kalinka. If he finds his first kill, it's going to be taking a very long time before more comes through. Kalinka's not checking the angle, and with that, it's going to be a quick 3 versus 4. Cressy could try and push through the smoke, but Flaric is on the other side waiting, and he might have actually heard him. Flaric is forced out, and he will get the kill, but Murbit should find the trade. Unfortunately, the Molotov not quite landing on him. It will finish him off, though, as he moved out into it. A 2 versus 2 with an AWP over here where they could come out on top, but Slacks takes too long to plant the bomb. Murbit in the back lines has to step up. He's been the hero so far. Can he put on escape? He finds one, but not the second. Superman is not quite ready to fly again.
Great pace there from HELLRAISERS on the retake. It was, lest we forget, this was a couple of rifles brought into the round from HELLRAISERS. Kalinka winning those first 2 duels, drop some weapons on path. So when they rotate in, they are hot on the heels of attacks. They don't allow them to get that bomb planted safely. Let them play the post plant. Instead, they isolate the duels, get those 2 versus 1s, and trade things effectively. They prevent 15. Attacks were certainly close. That was a 3 versus 5 that almost falls away from HELLRAISERS as well. We see the double up setup from HELLRAISERS in this round. Kalinka, JR both posted up with those. Aggressive off of short is JR. Well, smokes will be traded alongside Molotovs. Mid-control gained from attacks. Nothing really changing from the CT side as of yet.
The CT's passivity could be their undoing. They want to stay put because of the double off setup. They're hoping they can find some pickoffs, but JR, if he gets flashed off, if he gets smoked off, things get very, very risky. He pulls out his knife. He'll be staying in position, and he could maybe even catch them off.
This is risky.
Got to come up big. JR waiting. Kalinka's found the first. Kalinka on the other side has got 2, but they immediate trades with JR in the smoke also going down. Stefan probably bumped into him and figured out he was there. Cressy now on shot, taking the duel problem. Has to find the shot for the AK. Is at such an advantage. Flaric will come in with 1 and 2. He's saving the day all on his own, but Cressy will put on his best Murbit impression and get them through to that 15th round.
Impression or not, he has really come together on this T side, being a consistent fragger for attacks now that the sides are swapped, and that's a crucial set to win. The 1 versus 2, the headshot angle taken. Now it's only 1 more mistake, 1 more round to find here on attacks. The money is just gone for HELLRAISERS. It's not a good buy. It's pistols galore, some sparse utility as well. They have to concede control to attacks. Long-range game is not one you want to play with when attacks have the AWP in play as well.
They have got the wall smokes down, but again, pistol's going to work against that. Kalinka swings out with the CZ. And he does end up falling. Scrunk just keeps on going. This is not ending. Jalem can find one in between. JR desperately needs these kills. But Cressy, well, he's being taken away by teammates one by one. He himself will fall, leave Slacks in a 1 versus 2. And let's see how he does.
He spots the gun barrel, so he knows where JR is. The jump spot, did he see him? I don't know if the information is there. Slacks, he knows where one of the players is. The Molotov will be perfect to flush JR out, but now they can peek him simultaneously, play off the fact that he knows he has the ult, but the first shot hit, problem down. JR, can he win this back for Hellraisers? Keep them in it, but Slacks just too fast with the trigger. The up will always have the advantage, and he isolates both players. Attacks 16-9.
I don't even blame them, honestly. I'm impressed that Hellraisers gets to 9 rounds.